Okay. Does that help? 1, 2. Okay. All right, we're up. Does that help? 1, 2. Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. So, where were we? Okay, we were there. Let me just send a note to everybody that I'm back up again. Big problems with audio, but I am now live. All right. So what we got down here? Had tech problems, but now live. What I updated at. Okay, good. We're up and running finally. That was a little bit of a clumsy start right there, but we are up and running at this point. So let's get going. So I was really lucky, and I got a pretty nice looking world on my first click of the generation. So that's enjoyable. Doesn't always happen like that. Hey Aaron, I just had some lovely problems with my audio. I don't know what was going on, but I'm working now, I believe. Just give me a +1 if you can hear my voice. All right, so what I'm doing here is just creating a very simple and quick and easy solution, or rather prototype level, for the Nature's Beauty Procedural Worlds Game Jam. And I've got to relearn how to use Jenna. I don't do it from there because I am using their Polygon Nature spawner pack. Where's Procedural Worlds? There it is, right where my cursor is. Okay, here we go. So let's start out with some campfires. Actually, let's start with a ruin. I looked at campfires earlier. So we've got 2 different types of ruin. So let's start with this one. Now, one thing I have learned a long time ago is that it gets really messy really quickly. So let's put human habitation spawners. Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Aaron. I'm tempted to use my FPS VR iteration open pass with a... Oh, well, technically the rules are it's got to be a new project. But building alien worlds, that would be the new part of the project, wouldn't it? Somebody has just posted some great looking images using some alien scenery, and it looks really good. I really enjoyed looking at those. Oh, I forgot, with all the problems with no audio, I forgot I haven't put in the runtime items yet. So let's just open up the Gaia Manager. Come on, open up. There it is. Runtime, I don't want any camera in because I'm going to use my own camera stuff in here. Procedural World Skies, good. Clear Blue Ocean, yes. Go for, yeah, moderate. All good. So create the runtime. They officially started on the 24th, I believe. It was definitely around Thanksgiving time. All right, so there we got some water and some post-processing and stuff in there now. Looking good. Now the other thing I want to put in is Roland's photo session, which which I have imported somewhere down here. Here it is, prefabs, drop the photo session in. I'm going to use that to control my camera as I run around in this world. All right, so let's spawn in some ruins. Build an FPS Alien World Combat as a new project. Yes, you should. You should put do that with Neo FPS, and then you can submit it to the 7-day FPS as well. If you do the combat piece first, then you'll be able to submit it to 2 different game jams, which I'm doing, but I'm stupidly doing 2 completely different things. All right, so let's put some ruins here. No. Let's take a look at the overview first. Yeah, there's... Although it's going to... Yeah, that's good, because it's going to force people to walk around the edges of the mountainous bit in the middle. Going to walk that way or that way. They won't be able to go over the top. So let's put one here. Yeah, FPS not supporting multiplayer is a problem for some. I don't want to mess with multiplayer. I find it... Oh, I've kind of clicked off. I'm always doing that. I find that I don't want to have to struggle with it. I've got too much else to learn at the moment. And getting more problem with multiplayer is you need lots of players to play it. Okay, I don't think I have post-processing on this. It's really a bit bright, isn't it? And I probably haven't, given I didn't use their runtime. So where is my camera? Where's the camera? I don't like that Gaia decides where I'm going to put things. Flycam controls text. Why is that even in there? I didn't spawn the runtime in, did I? Yeah, I saw that you'd done an experiment with netcode, Aaron. I probably will have a look at it at some point. One day I'll do a game jam that with multiplayer, where multiplayer is the focus, but not anytime soon. Where's the camera? Oh, there is no camera. I'm looking in the scene view only. Oh, dear. Good start tonight. So let's put a camera in. Oops. Game object camera. There we go. All right. And let's put the post-processing on there. And they usually put on the transparent FPS. Have they not put post-processing in because I chose not to have a camera? They haven't. Okay, fair enough. Let's put it... What happens if I make it custom then? That's kind of weird that they do that. Okay. So how much have you done with Unity netcode, Aaron? Have you actually built... I saw you'd built the character controller as an experimental thing, but have you done anything a bit more complete than that? Camera, they've moved my camera now. Don't mess with me. This is frustrating. No, they've renamed it as well. No, they've taken it out. Where's my camera gone? God. This is one of the things that really frustrates me with procedural worlds. And the underwater processing is in. So the only way that I can get a camera is to use one of theirs or manually set the whole thing up from the beginning. I have to... Oh, because I've got... Oh, sorry, no, this is my fault. I needed to fill these in here. All right, fair enough. So I'll put the camera back in. So why did they delete my other one? Oy, failing silently. Oh, Brian's arrived just as I start slagging off procedural worlds. You have perfect timing, Brian. You did it last time as well. So I'll come back to why I was frustrated, so you can have the feedback in a minute. But first of all, Aaron, so you've not done a huge amount with networking. You can do that moving forwards. Excellent. And yeah, Piotr Kras, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm afraid. Yeah, we are talking about the Unity netcode. I have no experience of it, but Aaron's been playing with it, so feel free to ask him. Yeah, that's right, Zian. I do have to put the camera in there. So, Brian, I was slagging off procedural worlds for removing my camera when I'd asked to put a custom one in. And I hadn't put it in over here, which is why I hadn't had it set up correctly. Nevertheless, please don't muck with my settings. If I, don't take things out. I had my camera set up the way I wanted it, and then you took my camera out without any warning. You just did it. I like procedural world stuff being helpful, but sometimes it's too helpful. Now, I don't know whether I need a custom player or not. I don't want one. All I'm looking for is for procedural worlds to set up the post-processing, which it has done. I want the location manager. I don't want depth of field. Good. So now I can put my stuff on the camera. But before I do, let's make sure everything is working. Let's put the camera here. All right, so for those of you just arrived, my intention here is to create a level. Excellent. The camera's working. Looks like it has post-processing on. We're good. So now I can put my controller and stuff on it. So I'm building a prototype level for the Nature's Beauty Procedural Worlds game jam. And that is going to be a pretty simple level. Initially, because I'm going to build a proper level later. So this is really just for me to learn how to use the new spawner, which is using the Cinti assets. Okay, so where was I? I wanted to put on my AI camera controller. I didn't want the terrain exporter. I wanted that. And that should wire up my camera. Oh, it doesn't, because it's not called... This is a bug in my code now, not anybody else's. My code is now failing silently. Okay, there we go. And I need to put my follow target, say, here. So this controller that I just put on is going to automatically fly my camera around the world within that boxed area. I'm just going to raise it up a bit and hit play, make sure that's working, and then we'll get to building. Oh, thanks, Brian. You're confirming that I don't need to assign a player. Well, I did need to assign the camera, because if I didn't put the camera in there, it deleted it. Excellent. So my automated camera is now working. I'll show you why that's useful later. So maybe you think you don't need to, but if I didn't have anything there, you completely deleted the one that I'd put in my scene and set up with the things I wanted. So it does need it. All right, so let's continue to spawn in some ruins. So now, as I understand it, if I spawn another ruin here, it will look different to that one. So let's see. It's a little bit different. Not massively different. There is another spawner. Oh, I see. So that's what I spawned. That's what I was looking for. There is another spawner with a different number, which presumably will give me a fairly different thing in there. So let's have a look at that one. Yep, that one's totally different. Okay. All right, and then I think I saw a campsite, so let's put a campsite in there as well. I'm just throwing stuff in. There's no actual design to this. I'm trying to learn how to use this new tool and relearn how to use Jenna, because I haven't used it for quite some time. All right, so we now, oops, we now have a campfire. Okay, does that actually burn if I run? It's a Cincy thing, so it usually would have those kind of things. What are we saying here? Wanted to make a game with MLAPI, but it's pretty limited. Okay, I'm not familiar with networking at all. All right, so I don't have any fire. Oh, there's a little skeleton by it, look. Excellent. So this camera mode I've got here isn't the one that's provided with the procedural world stuff. There's nothing wrong with the one that procedural worlds uses, but it doesn't interact well. The way they set their player up, it doesn't interact well with my code, and I didn't have time to figure out why. So I just threw this in instead. All right, that looks good. We need something behind here. We need some rocks and things, don't we? And then we'll start thinking about vegetation. So let's do that. Let's have... I'm trying to keep my project a little bit in order, because one of the things I've found with Jenna is it litters your scene with loads of stuff. It's all needed. It's not like it's not needed, but it's not structured in any way. So what I tend to do is I create empty objects that I can at least drop the spawners in, so it reduces the clutter a little bit. Right, rocks. Here's some rocks. Let's start with the large rocks and see what we get. What type of game am I making? So I'm making. I actually did a video of me writing the game design document, and I had you in mind, Brian. When you pinged me and tried to talk me into taking part, which clearly succeeded. You said that you hoped that there would be some darkness in it as well as nature's beauty side. So I have some darkness for you. What happens is it's a walking simulator, because we've got to show off the procedural world stuff, right? So it's a walking simulator, but to add the game element to it, you are an evil despot of some sort, and you are prowling the land looking for a new champion to fight in your gladiatorial competitions, and you have this kind of magic camera. So you go around and you take photos of people, and then I'm going to use UFE, the Ultimate Fighting Engine, which I picked up in the Lightning deals. I'm going to use that to do the gladiatorial piece. So hopefully there'll be lots of blood and gore in that part, just for you, Brian. So I hope you give me bonus marks for thinking of your desires. All right, let's see what these rocks do. Well, let's spawn them on the oh, that is large. All right, were these cliffs or rocks? I mean, the rocks. There is a cliff section here. That's okay. It did say large, so that's fine. Oh my gosh, that's huge. All right, I don't like that one. What is it? Is it Shift I to iterate? Control I? No. Ah! What have I done? Oh, I've just somehow ended up selecting the world designer. I don't know what key I was pressing, but I've done some weird stuff over here. Alright. How do I delete that? I guess I could Control Z it, can't I? No, Control Z isn't working for me. What the heck is going on? Oh, have I locked control or something? This happened to me in a previous stream as well. My keyboard started doing really weird stuff. Control Z. No, look, I hit Control Z and it goes back there. Yeah, I thought Control Shift I, yeah, I thought that's what it was, but then I ended up in this mess. But at least you like the darkness I've injected for you. All right, what's going on with this thing? Let's see, can I actually select? So I can select the rocks, and I can delete them manually. All right. But if I hit Control Z now, oh, it brings it back. Okay, so I must have done something in the hierarchy with all my random clicks. That was very weird. That bit gets edited out because I am clueless as to what I was doing. I hit Shift I, okay, but what would Shift I do on its own? Let me find out. Shift I. Don't see it doing anything. So what would Shift I do? And while you're typing that in, I will spawn in a few more of these things. Okay, now I'm not able to spawn. There we go. Don't know what was happening there. Alright, so these large rocks are way too large. I don't like these. But they are called large rocks, so that's okay. That first one was okay. Let's try medium rocks. Okay, that looks like it's more in line with that one. There we go. Now we're getting better. Okay, this is better. Okay, again, I guess we can live with that one. Alright, so I am literally just plonking this stuff down right now with almost zero thought. I'm just figuring out how to use the tools. Yeah, so Brian, you're saying that if you get off the operation that you're doing, so if I click off the spawner or something, it goes straight back into Unity, and then whatever I press there is in Unity, and that actually catches me out all the time. It's obvious and understandable, but you know, I'm an idiot. Users are idiots, right? All right. Yeah, Shift I is the trait. Let's spawn one more and play around with that Shift I thing. Why is it not spawning there? Oh, that's interesting. It won't spawn on that bit. Huh. Okay, so that was that, and then Shift I, or Control I rather. Ah! So Control I is what took me over there. It's Shift I or Control Shift I. You did tell me earlier on. Hey, early gamer. Good to see you, sir. You've missed me being a complete hopeless somebody in all ways, but in all ways possible. Okay, Control Shift I, but I don't think it'll work now because I clicked off it. Right, so I need to spawn another one. Let's put it up there. Control Shift I. There we go. See, if the human does what the human is told, it works. And if the human just ignores the instructions, it doesn't work. Procedural worlds really ought to sort their users out. Come on, you do so well with the tools. Why aren't you doing well with your users? All right. So there was a cave in the video. Let's have a look at the cave. Actually, before I move on to the cave and get distracted somewhere else, let me go back to rocks and put a bunch of small rocks in. Actually, let me do... Yeah, small rocks. I was going to do small rocks with vegetation, but let's stay focused on one thing at a time. So, okay, so they won't spawn there for some reason. I'll have to have a look at the rules to see why that is. Alright, so these are... Is this in paint mode or is this in... Seems to be in spawn mode. Okay, so the small rocks don't seem to like quite a few of these areas. Maybe it's collisions with those bigger rocks. Okay, so we're going to need some of these down here, aren't we? Around our ruins. Ooh, that one's a bit big. So Control Shift I. Yay! Early gamer, thanks. I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm actually beginning to get on a roll now, but it was a very slow start, I can assure you. You just need to shift click to regain the target. Oh, really? Okay, good. Are you trying to sort out us users? Well, that's a good point. You're right here trying to sort me out. So, yeah, good point. You are trying to sort out your users. All right. That's good. So I was going to play with the caves and see what they do. All right, so I think caves can... No, caves go into human habitation, don't they? What are this? There's ones with vegetation. Let's try one with vegetation. And let's put the caves up here somewhere. Maybe there. Let's get the player to climb up. So we want it to be down this way to be seen. Alright, so there is a good spot. That's a cave? Okay. So cave entrance, I can see that. So maybe it's wanting me to actually do it. Say, let me get rid of that. Let me do it, say, round here. But it won't spawn there. Okay, so I'm not quite sure how that is a cave. It's a rock arch. Let's have another look at it and see what it is again. I'm sure when he did it in the video, it actually had a cave bit. Let's do some iteration on this. No, it's the same. It's different. The vegetation is changing, but the cave itself isn't doing. I'm sure when he did it on the video, though, it had like a roof and stuff. Let's try the other one. I'm a scientist because I'm doing experiments. That's exactly right. That allows me to completely screw up. Oh, there you go. You see, that one looks like it has a cover. Right, it does. Look, that one has a cover. So there's something interesting there about that other one. It's open at the back, though. So that wants to be spawned at the bottom of a slope somewhere, I guess. Say here. Let's try that. And it's going to want to face this way. So that was shift and drag. I'm getting the hang of it again. It's a long time since I've done anything serious. Now that one didn't get a roof. Okay, so it is in the iterations. But that doesn't seem to be iterating, does it? Control Shift I. That one isn't changing. All right. Let me respawn it then. Okay, so that's definitely different. Control Shift I. But it isn't iterating. That's interesting. Have we got a bug here, Brian? This isn't illustrated nature, early gamer. No, this is polygon, Cincy's polygon nature, and I'm also using the procedural world spawner pack for. At the moment, I'm using the Jenna parts of it, which are like pre-configured setups and spawners for that pack. They released it just a couple of days ago, so this is the first time I've played with it. I watched the video from Procedural Worlds, and then I started to have a play. So maybe that's a collision problem at the back there, because it did appear at the top. Let's try that. Nope. If it doesn't iterate, then it means it's a single prefab. But the first time I spawned it, it was very different. It had a roof and everything. And when he does it in the video that you guys have produced it, it did it there as well. So it doesn't want to spawn up here. Okay, let's just go all the way down here, where it's gonna, yeah, it's gonna spawn almost anywhere. So there you go. You see, that looks completely different, but it might be collisions, because I did have the cliff behind, and I was kind of hoping it would build it into the cliff, because this part does look similar. Oh, it's floating a bit as well. Yeah, Brian, there's some work to be done on this one. When I edit this video down, I'll grab these parts and send them through to your issue tracker. I probably will forget, of course, so you can feel free to nag me and say, hey, that looked useful, those strange behaviors I was seeing. Yeah, I'm not going to get into the prefabs tonight. I want to make sure I get a full level. I'm actually doing 2 game jams at the same time, which is a bit ridiculous because they're both completely separate projects. So I want to keep this limited to my Wednesday streams until the other one is finished, the 7-day FPS one. So I'll do some vegetation in a minute. I think we'll have... There's no houses in this. Okay, so I should probably put the houses in manually later. Okay, looks like we're going on to plants and trees. Let's just do trees to start with. All right, create empty trees. So this is just trees. What are we going to get with this? Let's try it down here. We're going to get absolutely nothing. Control, click. Nothing at all. That's interesting. Shift click. Definitely wants to spawn there, but for some reason it isn't. All right, let's have a look at that. Oh, look at this, Brian. No game object attached. Hey, I'm doing good at finding your bugs tonight, aren't I? I hope you're taking notes. I could force spawn it, but it's not going to do anything. I know your chat is behind what you're seeing, but I think this is your problem right here, okay? Is that right? I'm guessing that's a problem. I'm going to go and get one of the other spawners. Let's go with this one here. This has got plants and trees. Okay, Brian, for those of you who can't see chat on the playback, is saying, ha 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 ha. So I'm guessing that that is actually the problem. There's no prefab attached to it. Oh, hang on. I might have found some fundamental problem here because this one's doing the same thing. This might not actually be in your package. Yeah, this has no game object in it either. Or is that the same one? Yeah, none of them have a game object in. Ooh. Ooh, this doesn't look good. Let me try the plants. Nothing there either. Okay. Oh, hang on. There's more spawners below that top one. All right. So maybe I was jumping. No, that doesn't have any in either. Okay, so it's lost all the references to the game objects. That's kind of weird. Let's make sure I've not lost the prefabs. Okay, so the prefabs are in here. Let's find a tree and make sure that the trees are actually there. Yep. All right. Let's re-import. Let me delete it and re-import it. I don't mind starting this scene again from scratch if need be, because I have been just throwing it down. But this doesn't feel right. Polygon nature can go. And then let's go to my assets. Now Brian is checking it on his end as well. It did work for me this morning. I took about 20 minutes after breakfast to look at it, and it was working. So I don't believe this is in your released package. I believe something has happened to remove it. But I didn't use those specific spawners. I used some other spawners. What should I search for here? Polygon, I guess. That's the one, PWS. Oh, it's got an update? Really? All right. I'll click the update button. This might be the package manager being buggy as well. saying it's an update. Now it still says 1.0, so there's no actual update. Okay, let's see. Okay, so went into, why are those not in there? Oh, they're into the Cincy pack. Okay, right. So just import. Wow, that was fast. Okay. That worries me that it was quite that fast. All right, so procedural will. Oh, I deleted. God, I'm an idiot. I deleted Polygon Nature, didn't I? Rather than the Cincy stuff. No, I can't have done because that's all there. I don't know what I did. Oh no, I don't know. I'm confused. I'm tired. I'm always tired. So the campfire was working. That says no game objects as well, but that was working. Hey, Richard. You're joining us just as I'm trying to debug some strangeness. Let me try the campfire again. Yeah, so the campfire is spawning, even though it says there's nothing in it. Oh, that's a campfire with vegetation, master. Let's look at this one. Yeah, okay, so I don't quite understand this because it says there's no game object here. This must be something about... oh, that one's there. That has a game object in it. That one doesn't. That one does. So this is a bit weird. Some of them do have and some of them don't have. Going back to those trees then. Where are my trees? Bring them up here. This is red. Why is it red? That means I need to save it if I remember correctly. But I've not knowingly made any changes. So there's no tree in that one. But it has these sub-spawners. All right, so this isn't a bug, Brian. This is me being an idiot. Again, we discussed how your customers are idiots. Well, this customer of yours is idiots. But that's wanting to spawn a pillar from the trees? Okay. All right, so that... What's file 01? Oh, this is confusing. Pillar 01. This is the tree spawner, right? Yes. And it's not spawning anything. Yeah, Brian, it does always happen when you join the channel. I'm going to ban you. Simple as that. Yeah, okay, so yeah, Manny says that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, so we discovered that, so that's all right, but it's not working. So shift click says it should spawn it all over here, right? Control click, I'm getting nothing. What happens if I set force spawn, which is down here somewhere, I think. No, is it up at the top? Isn't there a force spawn or something somewhere? Force spawn in spawn criteria. All right, so control. Nope, it's not even doing it on force spawn. Alright, so that isn't working. Why is that not working? Ooh, my sky looks a bit screwy too, but I'll worry about that later. Nothing over here, so it's not the location. Richard, don't take any notice of Adam's none too subtle hints. You know full well that Adam is always dropping his teasers as to what's coming. I've grown used to ignoring his hints and waiting until the actual announcement. Nevertheless, I'm sure it's coming soon. Yeah, it's a clipping plane on the cloud. No, there's no errors there you see in the console. This is... Oh, I'm not on the spawner. So let's just check I've not broken all things. This was working, so that still works. Alright. So it is only these, or appears to only be these. Shift click says it should spawn. Control click is not giving me anything. Okay, let's try. There was a campfire with vegetation, right? Let's try that. Let's drop it in there. Is it anything to do with it not being in the route? Because you folks don't put them in the route. Let me try that in a minute. But let's try a campfire with vegetation. Okay, so I'm getting vegetation when it's part of a campfire. So let me just move the trees into the route and try that. Ha! There you go, Brian. That's what it was. So another piece of feedback for you there. First of all, it should work when it's not in the route, because many customers are going to do that, I think. And secondly, if I can't put it in a child object like that, it gets really cluttered. The scene gets horribly cluttered. And so please, I will submit a feature request for this. But please help us keep our scenes nice and tidy. There should be in my opinion, there should be no reason for those to appear, to be required to be in the route. And as you just saw, it will create support requests. So I will leave this without the slagging off of procedural worlds part of it in the video so that people can catch on a little bit more. Not that many people watch my videos, but every little helps. I'm going to try that with all of those tree spawners now. Oh, my excitement has just stopped. That one isn't spawning. So I'll go back to the first one. Or have I accidentally put it in there? Oh, yeah, it's not actually in the route, is it? There it is. Oh, my excitement is over. It did spawn that once. But now it's not spawning again. That's weird. Let's try spawning over here again. Oh! Look at that. Alright, let's try them all. Okay, so perhaps it wasn't that it wasn't in the route. But it won't spawn over here. Says it will. Control click, nothing. Do it over here. Control click, nothing over there either. But if I left click and then control click, still nothing. Alright, what's going on? Why is this part different? Control click and I get trees. It's got to be in the terrain. It's got to be in the matching rules, right? Alright, what's happened in chat? Let's see if anybody's got any ideas. Can you try changing the mode from paint to spawn? Yes, I'll do that in a moment. I'm looking forward to the terrain shader so I can use PW stuff without having all the other stuff in there. Yeah, as long as it's good, it's as easy to use as CTS. I will buy it and I will use it, definitely. Brian, I appreciate you trying to watch my videos. That's cool. And Richard, you're a star. You do watch them. Excellent. Brian's just saying it to be nice because he comes into my streams to break things for me. But then I get to abuse. So that's awesome. Okay, yeah. Usually I don't put me breaking things in the videos. I normally edit those out. Not because I'm trying to hide it, but because we can't have a laugh about it in a video. But sometimes when it's a bug that helps people, or rather a thing that's less obvious, I'll leave them in then. So you're saying it's the high ground. Okay, it's lower over there though. So you're saying that it is the height that makes it. Okay, now it looks about the same height actually. I'll have a look at that in a minute, but you asked me to move it to single rather than paint. Is that what you said? Can you try and change the mode from paint to spawn? So I think you mean single, right? So it says it should. No, control click is again doing nothing down here. And if I go over here, control click, it does. So it didn't do it when there was a fair amount of rock. See, if I do it here, it's not doing it. Even though it says it will, but it isn't. If I do it there, it does. Okay, so it's the textures, I think. But this is all grass. I don't see any rock here. Still says it's going to spawn, but it doesn't spawn. It's the texture matching rules. Let's have a look at them. I'm not going to get much of a video out of this one, am I? But that's all right. I was intending to learn what was going on. And I can't remember how to use Jenna, so this is good. This is helping me learn it. And those are the children. This is confusing. You should have a checkbox up here that says, are you going to be using subspawners or do you need a prefab or something, so that you know it's okay for that to be empty. It even fooled you, Brian. You had to go to Manny, didn't you? Alright, where am I finding the rules? They're up here. I'm looking in the wrong place. So I'm on force spawn. So it can't be the textures. Can it? Oh, I see. You're saying it's that. Okay, it was a joke. Right. So you're not saying it was a high ground. I must have missed the flow in it with the timing of the delay. So if I'm on force spawn, it can't be the textures, can it? That's causing it. Let me do some more testing over here. We can have a lot of rock and stuff up here. So shift click says it will spawn anywhere in this area. Control click, it will spawn in the grassy bits, but not on the rocky bits. Go up to the grassy bits. Yeah, it is the textures. I've got force spawn on. Yeah, so you're confirming in chat, Brian, that force spawn should make it spawn whatever, but I will describe one more time what I'm doing here. Let me just get rid of these. This is the best place to illustrate it, I think. I'm just doing Control Z to get rid of everything. There they go. They all go. So, Shift, left click. In theory, it will spawn anywhere in this area. Control, left click. I clicked twice then. The first time got nothing, the second time got what you see now. If I now go over here and shift left click here, or rather control left click here, nothing. Even though if I shift left click it tells me it will. And I'm on force spawn, I believe. Let me check. Yep, I'm on force spawn. And that's why it's telling me it'll appear everywhere, I guess. So some rule is being applied even though I'm on force spawn. Let me turn that off. Okay, now this is saying that it'll only spawn in the places that it is spawning in, so that's okay. So it's something to do with your force spawn, I think. Unless the subspawner has the rule attached, maybe. I've yet to play with this. Yeah, well, I'm playing with it. You're seeing it in the hands of a complete well, not newbie. I know Jenna pretty well, but not this pack. And I don't believe I've ever used subspawners before. But I'm not seeing any rules in here. Oh, and where is the actual thing that gets spawned? It says here it's got a subspawner vegetation. Oh, they're going to be in here, aren't they? Ah, okay. No, that's campfires. So they're going to be in the trees section. Wow, this is complex to navigate. Only because I'm new. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad way of doing it. I don't know about that yet. Okay, so this is the spawner that was spawning. So maybe you're onto something there, Brian. Are there any rules in here? Not going to be rules on individual trees, I would have thought. No, down to the tree there. It's really hard to understand the jokes because I can't remember what I said 30 seconds ago, and the delay is means your joke is going to something that was said previously. My memory is like a goldfish. Actually, they say that goldfish have reasonably long memories and that it's a fallacy that they have very short memories. So I have a memory like me. It's not good. All right, so I don't see any rules in this subspawner. Up here, what have we got? Collision layers. Yeah, that doesn't look like it's affecting it. No texture checks in here. All right. So shift click. Oh, I'm not on the thing. Shift click is now giving me, now I haven't got force spawn on, it is giving me what I would expect. And if I click where it's saying that they will spawn, I am getting a spawn. So that's good. Let's try down here. Shift click, says it will spawn anywhere. Control click, isn't spawning anywhere. Hey Adam Hayes, welcome. You're waiting for Gaia 2022. Okay. I think 2021 has only just stabilized properly. So yeah, you might as well start with 2022. Yes, I can try something for you, Brian. Can you try to preform maintained in the Jana manager? I don't know what that means. Let's see if I can figure it out. So here's the Jena manager. Show Jena manager. Okay, so I've got this. Perform maintenance. Not preform. Right, preform maintained, you mean perform maintenance, right? Yeah, okay. Upgrading spawners. No worries, Brian. You're typing to try and guide me. That's no problem. I type worse than you do. Trust me. Look at all these lovely dots in the sky. I assume they'll go when I do a shift left click. Nope, because I'm not on the spawner. There we go. All right. Well, we got trees down here. What? Where did they come from? Did they appear while it was doing its maintenance? I took my eyes off the screen. Let's try spawning. Okay, so I did there. Okay. The magic seems to have worked. And all of these do seem to have appeared whilst it was doing that maintenance thing. Not spawning down there. Says it should, but it isn't doing. Okay, did there. Right, so this is confusing. Oh, I wonder. I'm pressing and holding when it does that. I'm going to have to get rid of a whole load of these. Click. Whoops. Click. Nothing. Click and hold. Nothing. Click, hold, and move. Something. All right. I'm too good at clicking and not moving the mouse. So I think what's happening... Am I in paint mode in this one? No, I'm in single mode. All right. So I'm not sure if it is about moving the mouse. That one came with just a quick click. That one did not. Click and hold. Okay. It's a timing thing. That's what's happening, Brian. I think your maintenance thing did do something because all those other trees appeared. But I think what I'm seeing now is it's instant when I do shift click. That's not a problem. If I do control click quickly, I'm getting nothing. But if I hold a little bit, I'm still getting nothing. Every time I think I've sussed it out, something else. Try paint mode and drag the mouse. Control left click and drag the mouse. Okay. Paint mode, which is what it was in originally. And that is working to an extent. Okay, so it works down here. If I keep moving it around, it's probably a bit busy down there now. But not up there. Oh, there we go. I think it's a processing thing. I think, you know, it's whether it's busy or not. So I'm not letting the mouse or the left mouse button or the control key up at all here. I'm just moving it around without clicking and changing. And you can see that it isn't happening much. So maybe my flow rate is way too low. Let me put the flow rate down really low. I don't really know what these things do. I'm just experimenting. All right, so if the flow rate comes down, it feels much more natural. So it is a timing thing, and it seems to be a timing thing controlled by the flow rate. If I put the flow rate back up to 25, which is what it was on, and create some space. Control, click, drag. Yeah, it's the flow rate. And so when I'm just single clicking, it's doing it every time now. That might have been your fix, maintenance thing. It's not doing it up there, but that might be because there's too much rocks up there. Yeah, there's quite a lot of rocks up there. All right, so that maintenance did something. Because we had all those trees pop in that we'd been planting earlier on. And then my current problem now is with this flow rate. So my feedback to you as the developers is you must always spawn on the click and then have the flow rate come in. It doesn't seem to be doing that. It seems to be unpredictable as to when it's actually going to spawn. So I just click there, click, 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 click. Okay, it's not wanting to spawn over there. Let me go closer so I can see what I'm actually clicking on. Yeah, I might have been clicking on a bit of rock there. Click, 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 drag. Okay, so we're definitely narrowing it down, but I don't think we have a question. So I've not lifted my fingers off the control or the shift. Each one of these spawns you're seeing is from the same control click. So there's something not right there. I always break your products. That's why Adam doesn't ask me to beta test anymore. Yeah. So I'm not sure we found the actual problem. But we're definitely finding that if I turn that right down and do it, yeah, it works as I would expect it. So it's something to do with the flow rate and the timing of how it's working there. It might be that high flow rate is to be expected to be what we're seeing there, but that's the default setting. Let me override or revert all changes here, and let's just do something down here. Now, before I do this, let's see what you've said. The dot is also kind of lagging, to be honest. Is it? I wasn't noticing that. I'll look at that in a minute. Could also try to turn down the time interval as well. Okay. Can you try to turn down the time interval with the 25 flow rate? Right, sure. I'm right now, I'm back. I just reverted all changes. So what I'm about to do is with the default without changing the timing. Let's check that was the right one. Yeah. So control, click, drag. Okay, so you're right about the dot. It is lagging behind. It's moving, I think, on the flow rate. So what's happening is I think maybe I'm on a place where it doesn't want to spawn. Of course, I'm not moving far enough for it to move. All right, so then you said leaves the flow rate on 25 and change the time interval. All right. Hey, Philip. Oh, Vancouver. I take it that means Vancouver, BC. I love Vancouver, BC. I'm British, as you might tell from my accent, and I live in the Pacific Northwest. So pre-COVID, when we could travel freely, I used to go up to Vancouver for fish and chips on the dock there, because you can't get good fish and chips here in the US. So thank you for giving me good fish and chips. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, and you say, yes, you can get fish and chips in the US, I'm talking about proper British style fish and chips, not this nonsense breaded stuff or these tiny things you have here. The Canadians know how to do it. That's right, don't you, Philip? You also then go and spoil us with that poutine stuff too. All right. So my rant about fish and chips is over. Time interval. You wanted me to change the time interval. So what do you want me to change it to? It's 1,000 now. Is that 1,000 milliseconds? Yes. So let's bring it down to, say, 250. That should be enough for me to be able to have some kind of control over it. All right. Shift click, control, left click. All right. That worked on the initial click without any problem, as I expected. I've lifted my finger now, going to do control click. Didn't work at all that time. Is it supposed to spawn over there? Yes, it is. So the time interval doesn't seem to make any difference. Okay, so it did it there. Let's get rid of those. And let's try reducing the flow rate. Now I'm getting something much more realistic, or much more as expected. So it's your flow rate. Love the chips in the UK. Well, if you can find good ones, to be fair, there aren't that many good ones left in the UK. But it's all curry now, which is great. I love curry too. But when I was growing up as a young lad a number of years ago, fish and chips was the most important thing in the country. And it's definitely a good size fish. Nice crumbly batter, that's right. And good solid chips. Fluffy in the middle and crispy on the outside. None of this French fry nonsense, or freedom fries, or whatever you want to call them. So yes, Brian, the flow rate is the issue. So now I know that, I'm going to start again from scratch, because I do want to try and get a useful video out of this. So I'm going to start right from the very beginning. And I'm going to tell people about that problem, and hopefully I'll enable them to work around it. So let's delete that prototype level. Okay, and why is it not deleting it? I should read what it says. You cannot undo the delete. You're right, but do it. Some F6 cannot. Oh, well, I can't delete a scene. What's the DLL got to do with it? I don't believe that's a procedural worlds thing. Is it still got the stuff in it? I can't open it either. Wow. All right. Start from creating a new scene. You've already sent it off to Manny. Okay, if Manny needs to know more about it, I can just chop that bit with all of the slagging off of his work and make him feel really good if you think that would be helpful. All right, create scene. We're going to do nature's beauty. I always have to think about how to spell beauty. Prototype scene 2. What? Where'd it go? I've got errors in the console now. Can't be done because the asset database editing is started. Start. Oh. Ooh. That sounds like something Procedural Worlds has done as well. It's been trying to do something with a database and then it's not completed or something. A restart of Unity will almost certainly fix that. So let's try that. Wow, this is an enthralling stream, right, folks? we're really going for it here. Not your bug, Brian. So you're all right with me just slagging everybody off that's not present. Excellent. You're having fun. Good. I mean, it's to be understood that users are going to find problems, but also Unity is such a complex beast, and this is Unity 2021 we're in here, so it's not a released version of Unity. All sorts of possible causes for this, but it's good to know where they can be happening. Oh, you saw, Richard, you're saying you saw that same problem when there was no procedural world stuff. Okay, that's good to know. All right, we're seeing a load of problems with assets in procedural worlds. File might be corrupt or missing, so it's all in the content packs. Except, yep, it's all in the content packs. All right, let's reinstall the content packs. Looks like it may have corrupted it with whatever was going on. So let's delete that and do a fresh import. This is a throwaway project, so we're all good with that. Are you winning friends, Richard? Yeah, I think you're right, Richard. I think whatever happened broke the library, so we'll re-import. I don't want to have to set up a completely new project if I can avoid it, because Gaia takes forever to load in. And I'll come back to that in a moment once I've got PWS, Polygon Nature. So I know I don't re-download is the new thing, isn't it? All right, looking good. Everything says it's new. So we'll import. Yeah, so this has been asked on your on the Procedural Worlds Discord a number of times. Can we please, I beg you, please, have a separate download for the content that comes with it, so that we don't have to download however many gigabytes of content that you package with Gaia. I never use it. It's lovely, it's great, but it's not what I want. And as you do more of these things, like the Cinti Nature Pack, it becomes even less important. And the install and then the upgrade into linear, if you forget to do it before you install it, and all of those steps that you have to do, it takes forever for something that we don't want. It can be done already, Oh, uncheck it on the import. Ah, well, that's if Aaron is still here, you two can fight it out. Because I use an asset from Aaron called Asset Manager, which does quick imports. So you don't have to do any interception and all that kind of thing. So I can't do it with the way I import stuff. But yeah, okay, fair enough. And you're saying, oh, okay. Oh, something else. You're saying there's another way. Tell me while I check this console out. Oh, I never cleared, did I? Blast. Let's go down here. I don't know whether they're... I think they're the old ones. I meant to clear it before I imported, but there weren't a lot of them, so I'm going to assume that they were the old ones. Oh, and look, the one that said it wasn't going to delete has gone. All right, so it wasn't. It was almost certainly a Unity Asset Database thing. So we're in the right scene now. This is looking better now. Hey, Aaron, you're lurking. Come on, you've got a fight for to go on with procedural worlds. I want a version of Gaia that doesn't have the models in it. You can go to Window, Procedural Worlds, Gaia, create a script only package. Okay. But I have to install it in the first place to be able to do that. And are you saying, let me have a look at what you're saying. You're saying if I install it once, Procedural Worlds, Gaia, create a script. So if I click that, it's going to create me a new package. And will that package appear in the package manager? I don't want to try it now because I suspect it'll take a while, but that sounds pretty cool. I should have a play with that. I'm about to say you should have that more clearly known, but you're going to tell me it's documented, and then I'm going to say, oh, because I don't read documentation, and then it becomes my problem, not yours, and I don't like being wrong on my own stream. So we'll stop at that point, and I'll get on with making my scene. All right. Create empty. All right, where are my game objects? Let's start with, I did like those ruin spawners. Let's see if we can do it inside of game objects, which I think we can. That seemed to work before. Where's my... Oh, here it is. That's what I want. So my generate spawners, and I want the ruins. And I liked both of them, so I'm going to drop both of them in. Let's use the vegetation this time. Oh. Don't want to replace it. Let's use the vegetation ones this time. See what the difference is. So now I understand why they're called master. Oh, I haven't created a terrain. I'll need to do that, won't I? Procedural worlds, Gaia manager. But then how do you update? Good question, Aaron. Yeah, I haven't seen it before, Richard. It's new. It's probably been there for 5 minutes. All right, Cincy Nature. I am going to use the random designer. I was really lucky with it last time in that my first click gave me a good land, but I had no audio working at the time, so I didn't know. All right. Here we go, and I'm gonna go and put that in there so it doesn't delete my camera, and stick with, I don't want the screenshotter, do want the location manager. All right, create the, yeah, go ahead, create the runtimes. I usually do that after I've created my terrain, but there we go. Yeah, see, Brian is showing me up. He says it is documented. But yeah, documentation. Okay. Yeah, Brian added it when he mentioned it. That's why he had me do the update, right? The maintenance. He's got a direct link to all our computers through the Gaia Manager. All right, close that down, and let's see what we get without changing anything. So I do want something. Oh, I didn't mean generate. I meant randomize. I do want something with a lot of flat area. And that looks pretty good, actually. Could it be that I get something nice on my second click again? Yes, a nice click. A nice mountain in the middle. Can force people to walk around the edges. Find some interesting stuff around the edges. Okay. That works. Generate. I do want to be quick because this is just a quick prototype to allow me to build the very first version of the game. Just have, well, okay, Brian, you can have access to my machine anytime if you're going to fix problems for me instantly, just like that. That's perfectly reasonable. All right. So Richard's saying that the random map generator is the best thing ever. Actually, I don't usually use it. I think it's great for something like I'm doing right now, which is to throw a really simple thing together. But when it comes to actually building the game, I don't like to use it. I like to craft the environments that I'm working in and get a good feel for them. Why do I not have my texturing? Oh no, I clicked on the wrong thing. It didn't do the texturing. It normally does the texture, doesn't it? No problem, I can do it manually. But I thought it did it automatically when you did that. Maybe not. Maybe I'm misremembering. Oh dear. Okay, Brian. Can you just log in again and fix it again, please? A shark in the water that could potentially eat you. That'd be cool. And also, oh, if I could then animate the shark in Universal Fighting Engine, it could also be one of the potential gladiators. That'd be interesting to try and figure that out. What's used to make my base, do all the extra stamping to get. Yeah, exactly, Richard. That works too. Using the random thing to give you an initial base and then do texturing. That can work too. Additional stamping rather. I just start from the initial stamp, so but I can see that would make sense. Use it to generate the world and then add the manual stamp route. Yeah, that's what Philip's saying, I think. Sorry, what Richard is saying. I was reading Philip's name. Okay, yeah, Philip thinks it's a good idea to have sharks and things. I agree. Yeah, okay, so Brian is asking to be banned because we've broken it again. This is for those of you only just joined. We were joking earlier on. Every time Brian joins the stream, everything starts to break. Now, let's have a look at this spawner. Why is this spawner not working? That preview looks all right. That preview's covering everything. That's got a few patchy bits. So the previews all look good. Let me try spawn local from here. Nothing. I did put the spawners in before I created the scene. Now that shouldn't make any difference. Should I create a new scene and just see if I can reproduce that? Why not? Create scene. Nature's beauty. I'll be able to spell nature's beauty by the end of this game jam. Prototype. Scene 3. Open a new scene. Let's not bother saving that. Wizard, don't think it auto spawns textures for me either, though I thought that was normal. Yeah, it should work. But that on that occasion, it wasn't doing it when I manually clicked the spawn button either. So there was something weird going on. Let's see if it's... because we did have that asset database corruption earlier on, so it's entirely possible that we're still corrupted there. Gaia Manager, Small Desktop, Cincy Nature, World Designer, Create World Designer. I'm not going to put the runtime in, because normally that's what I do. Could also click on the train, make sure draw instance is enabled. Okay, I'll do that if it does it again. All right, so let's see if we can find something where the sharks can get us. That'll do. Generate. And it's ticking and ticking, and we're all waiting with bated breath as to whether it is going to texture it or not. It is applying the rules. It has no, yes, no. Don't know what's going on. It's doing stuff. Commentating a progress bar is quite difficult. And I don't believe it's that entertaining either. So... should auto spawn for you when the train is made, at least the textures. Yeah, that's what normally happens. This appears to be doing more this time than it did last time. But it hasn't generated, it hasn't spawned. So click on the train and see if we have instance. Is it in the settings? The draw instance, yeah, it is ticked, so we're good there. Let's have a look if the textures are on the terrain. This has changed. Oh no, it hasn't. I'm on the wrong one. Textures. Okay, there are no terrain layers. Do I have any errors? Nope, no errors. One warning. Active terrain in the scene. There was no... Oh, that it always does that at the beginning, I think. So it isn't putting the textures on. So are the textures even in existence then? Did that get corrupted in the that database problem we had? Let's have a look. Resources. Missing textures. All right. Looks like it might be a database corruption thingy. What's it? Let me also re-import nature. We could go on all night re-importing everything. Let's see if that fixes it. Re-import or import. Oh, look at all those things that it says is missing. Everything. That would explain it. So you're off the hook, Brian. You didn't break that one. And you're saying, can I open the Gaia Manager and perform maintenance? Yes, I'll do that when this is finished importing, which I believe it just did. So Manager, that is under Setup Project, is it? No. Advanced. Whereabouts do I find it? I can't remember. Gaia Maintenance, that's where I find it. Start Maintenance. I had to do this earlier because my the biomes were not appearing in Gaia Manager. And that was the fix. I don't know if you saw that on the Discord earlier. So let's have a look now at that spawner. We do have a sand texture. This is looking more hopeful. Let's spawn this one. And I'm getting excited by a green line that is moving very rapidly across, but it will go all the way back to the beginning again. There you go. Look at that. It was a ACID database problem. And I think we decided earlier on that it wasn't a Sinti problem. I mean, a procedural worlds problem. Okay. This looks all right. I think we can. It's not really got enough flat areas, so I want to bring the stamper in, don't I? I'm going to have to put a flatter area around this front edge. So how do I do that? Go to Gaia Manager, Advanced, Tools, Stamper. All right, has that added it? It has. Excellent. That was intuitive, so that's a good sign. All right, I want something that's pretty flat, presumably planes. God, it's a long time since I've done anything with this. I think reduce the strength of this. Get out of the way. Okay, let's bring that into view and bring the strength right down. There we go, that's more like it. Not too low, otherwise we won't actually have anything, will we? Above the water. Let's see how that works. Stamper. Where's my thing to lower it and higher it? My gizmos. Okay, it's just gone from there. So let's lower that down a bit. Actually, you know, oh no, I haven't got any C if I make it that high there. Low. Okay. I'm going to need a distance mask, aren't I, to stop it having the hard edges. That's better. Okay, can't quite tell. If that's, of course it's below the water, that's why the blue is there, isn't it? That's right. Am I off the edge of the world there? I think I am. Can't see the edge of the world very clearly. That's a bit awkward. Okay, that'll do for there. And then stamp. Where's my stamp button gone? Over there on the right. Okay, and then I'll use that same one to add a bit more around the other side. Yeah, that looks okay. I want to make sure there's enough space for the player to move around the side of the central mountain. And also have enough land to put places for the player to wander around in. Let's move it a tad that way, I think. Alright, and stamp. I think that will do it then. So what we got here? Set it to world space. I mean global in the influence, so it adapts to the terrain. Okay, that was somebody, I forget who it was telling me to do that last time, and I said, oh yeah, that works well. But anyway, that resulted in something that I wanted, I think. When you say adapts to the terrain, what do you mean? Does it improve this? I think I'll probably want to smooth a bit there, but I'm not going to bother with that because this is a prototype terrain and I'm not too worried about it. Fit to terrain. Just looking to see what this global does. Yeah. All right, it works for me anyway like that, so that's fine. All right, so good. I have my flat area, and the player's going to get forced to walk around here and fight with the sharks that are going to run out the water with legs or something. Okay, that's all looking good. So let's put the water in. Let's see what that looks like. And missing camera. Okay, that's interesting. But there you go. It's easily fixed. Don't want the screenshotter. Looking good. Create the runtime. May want to respawn the textures. Yes, that's correct. I will want to respawn the textures. Yeah, these problems here should go away then, shouldn't they? Alright. Not session. Where is it? It's not world designer either. Biome is what I want. There we go. And turn them all off. Except that one. And then it'll look much nicer. Thanks for reminding me about that. I wasn't actually looking at those things. Okay, oh, that's still there. There must be a ridge there. Oh, there it is. That's kind of nice. Right, didn't I put the water in? I did. So the water, it's a little too sandy for my liking around the edges there. I would like less than that. So I could raise the water up, or I could change the texturing. I think I'll change the texturing on the ground. Adam yells at you for that all the time. Okay, so that means that you do it. It looks like it's a really good river here. That's totally accidental. I might have to do a bit of carving in the mountain to bring it in. I'm getting carried away. I'm not supposed to be doing a really detailed design. I'm supposed to be just throwing it together. It's sometimes such fun to just work with this stuff. It is supposed to be going down to 0 sea level, so it's on the curve. Let's bring that up a little bit. Oh, it's very shallow, isn't it? I made it really shallow. Oops. There we go. That should be good. Let's have a look at that. That's why there was so much grass. I've made it super shallow around the edges. That's much better. I like the fading. We've got a bit of a line at the bottom there, but we perhaps won't see that if we're close up. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm a bit close around the edge here, but I can touch that up if I decide to use this, but it's not my intention. All right, so let's get on with this spawning of stuff. Create empty object, and what is it I'm creating? Oh yes, ruins, because I just do like these two ruins spawners. I'm going to use it with vegetation. Should probably put ruin spawners on there. Let's rename that to ruin spawners. Keep it under control. Alright, let's start with that one. And I want to put it somewhere where the player is going to be forced to move around. Whoa! Horribly laggy. Ah! So I think this really flat bit here would be good. Oh, what's gone on there? We have another problem. Again, this looks like it's going to be the asset database problem. This is not going well, is it? Let's have a look. Terrain flattener, ruins. So it did flatten the terrain and it has textured it. Ruins. Ruins 0101. So now I have to go into here. No, not into there. Was that just the name of it? Yeah, Brian, you're saying I can change the depth in the water profile. That's what I meant by raising the water up a bit. But I like to try and remain consistent on all of my worlds so I don't confuse myself. Because I am very, very easily confused. So the more consistency I can keep, the better. Obviously, when it comes to doing the actual levels, I'd be more flexible. But when I'm trying to work quickly, I like to I like to stay fairly focused. All right, I was a layer too high there, so let's drop that down. Come on, open. Is that? Does that? I can't quite see. It does have an open thing. Why is that not opening? I can't open these up to see what's inside them. And re-import this as well. This being Jenna, or Gina as it should be pronounced. Or maybe do maintenance. Shall I try that first? Let's see. You're teaching me, Brian. I didn't even know that perform maintenance button existed until you told me to go click it earlier. I did import the nature pack. That's already imported. We did that while you were looking away, or while you were hacking into my computer to create the next bug. Let me just try. If I do Control Z, will that go away? No. I'll click to away to or whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll just do this and do that. There you go. Perform maintenance fixed it. So that was because the asset database got corrupted. I re-imported the Polygon nature pack and the asset, the procedural worlds asset, but it didn't. Where's the vegetation? It says it should have vegetation, but it didn't pick the changes up. So the vegetation isn't coming in. Control Shift I to iterate. Yeah, there's no vegetation coming in. So we may have another problem here. It's got in a horrible, horrible state is basically the issue, isn't it? Oops, didn't that. Put it over here. Better. Oh, I don't like that one. I don't see how the arches would stay. I grew up in a country that had things this old, and you don't find arches. When it's that ruined, you don't find arches still intact, and you don't find things like this. Mind you, Cincy are from New Zealand. They've got old stuff too. They should know that. Guess it's artistic license, right? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I did. I reinstalled them both, the Cincy and the PWS one. All right, so for some reason the vegetation isn't appearing with that one, but I'm past blaming Procedural World for all that, because we do have some really strange stuff going on. Let's just try putting some trees in. Tree spawner. In fact, just put vegetation spawner, because we're going to do most of the spawning with Gaia. So I can put them all in together here. So Polygon, I think start with ground plants. Oh, it's just a single plant. Okay, so this is in paint mode, and this has a flow rate of 1, so I don't think we're going to see the same problems that we did with the other one. We're not. This is behaving kind of as I would expect it to behave. And it's got a good flow rate on it. So I am pretty certain it is the flow rate, all that trouble we had earlier on. Guess we'd have some inside. My original design document for this game said realistic art style, but then you came out with this, so I changed my mind. Okay, trees. Let's see what generic tree is, because I don't want to have to make a decision. Okay, so let's put some trees across the... Am I still on the... No. Okay, it's an individual tree again. Okay, good. Ooh, that's a bit much. So I want to reduce the flow rate here. Okay, good. All right, and I think we'll have a couple over here. And I like that it came out with a smaller one. How did it know I wanted a smaller one there? Oh, all right. So maybe it was just luck. I don't like that one. I like this iteration thing. There we go. Smaller ones. All right, and then I think that'll do for that. Let's put the campfire in. I'm going to change the name of the ruin spawner to human places. And let's put the, not the cliffs, the campfire. There we go. Now there was one of them had a skeleton. I don't want a skeleton. I don't know which one it was. It might have been all of them. I can always remove the skeleton by hand, I guess. Let's go in here. Put it maybe there. Yeah. Facing out though. Yeah, it's got a skeleton on it. I don't want the skeleton. Let's get rid of that skeleton. Bye bye. Alright. Okay, good. So, what's that? A few seconds. Just clicking around randomly. Ignoring all of the problems we had before. Good morning, Christopher. You've missed all the fun. We've been having all sorts of technical problems tonight. But we do seem to be getting somewhere at this point. Alright, so that's good. Where else shall I put something? I don't have any other Cincy assets imported. I would like to put some buildings and stuff in somewhere, but let's not do it. Let's see if we can do something with that cave, because that wasn't behaving well for us before. Let's do a folder called... In fact, let's not do a new folder for it. A new game object. Let's actually change the name of this one again to points of interest. And let's see if I put a cave over here. How does that work out? Yay, now we're getting a proper cave. So that was another of the problems we are having. I've put it in a funny angle. That might not work if I do it this way. Oh no, that's working all right. Although it does look... Yeah. So Brian, if you're watching now, this is the same problem I had with the cave earlier on. It's not a cave because the back parts aren't spawning because this area is preventing it from spawning. I believe, let's see if I'm right, if I put it over here, I get a full cave. Right? So I think it's that these pieces are colliding with the terrain and therefore not spawning. So I kind of understand why that's happening. I don't know how you would work around it. What I would like for it to do is for these pieces to intersect the cliff behind. So let's see if I can do that manually. If I spawn it here and then go and find that, can I not move it? What's this? This is an empty object. What's this? This is what I mean by clustering up the project. What are all these empty objects for? There's nothing on them. Is that I think that might be a return of an old bug. I know at one point it used to do that all the time, and then you fixed a bug, so you might have a return of an old bug there. Where is my cave that I just spawned? Spawner, so they're up here. Okay, so it is trying to be tidy. Small cave. There we go. So now if I move that back, that's what I want it to do. When I spawn it next to the terrain there, I want it to put the cave into the terrain. I need to just lower that down a bit. We've got some hard edges there. Still I've got some, maybe do that. That looks good. So that's how I want that spawner to work. I'll have to have a play with it and see if I can make it do that. I'm pretty sure it's collision with the terrain. Been fixed in the latest version. I thought I had the latest version. 3.3.11. I'm pretty sure I updated. But the package manager, as we all know, can sometimes be a little confusing. Or confused, I should say. Like right now, I'm searching for... Oh, these have all got Jenna in the description. Okay, fine. Really? I'm on 2.2.4? No. So normally I don't work in 2021. Normally I work on 2019, which is the version of Unity that has that bug in it that tells you you're up to date, but you're not actually up to date. I can't be on 2.2.4 if the latest version is 3.31. How could I be? It wouldn't have the the splines and things in it, would it? I'm not waiting for all this download to happen. Let's have a look in the Jenna manager. See what it tells me it is in there. 3.3.10. All right, so package manager is lying. Either your metadata is wrong or package manager is broken. And I'm not on 3.311. Okay. But it is updating in the background, so or downloading. All right, so where are we? Let's go back in the chat a little bit. Could you scroll down so you can see the spawn criteria? Hey, Manny, I've been slagging your work off big time. No, I haven't. We've been finding lots of bugs and stuff. Which spawner was it that you wanted to see? Is it the cave? Did you join when we were talking about how I'd like the cave to work? Christopher, you say that it looks perfect for the Quibbly shaders. I've actually been experimenting with all sorts of shaders with the Cinti stuff so that it at least looks a little bit different from everybody else's stuff. I haven't tried the Quibbly one. I don't own it, but I have had some really good results with Real Tune or something like that, I think it was. It does work pretty well. I haven't quite got it right yet, but I've got some good improvements. Oh, I was importing Gaia, was I? Or downloading Gaia. Okay. I thought I was looking at Jenna, but that would explain why the version number was wrong. Oh, God. Yeah, you're right. All right, so, yeah, I have Gaia from the Procedural World store. I saw Pro and think, okay, so that's better. All right, click that. Thank you. Well spotted. That saved me looking like an idiot again. There's a huge delay with the chat. Yeah, I'm not sure why that is. The stream settings is set to low latency, which is supposed to not have such a slow delay. Plus, I've not been looking at it constantly, which is a longer delay with the human on the end. Glad you like you awake. Yeah, I do. I love it, Manny. The bug hunting is awesome. No, we did actually, after we'd dug in a little bit, we did have a bit of an asset database problem from Unity, and that seemed to have caused a lot of bugs. But some of the stuff we were doing right at the beginning was before that, and I'm pretty sure it was flow rates. In fact, I can show it you in a moment, so I'm going to do some trees in a minute. Showing off the cave. You wanted to see the spawn criteria of the cave with slope limits. Okay, that's fine. I am... Oh, apart from this is happening now. Right. So, cave. So let's do it over here. Oh, got the download going, so it just needs to do this. What did I click on? Go back over here, cave. Come on, there we go. So what I was saying, we can probably do it up here. So what I was saying is, if I was to spawn it here, I would like the cave to disappear into the cliff at the back. But what happens if I spawn it close to the cliff? It doesn't spawn the roof and the side walls and stuff. Presumably because it's colliding. So you said, can you look at the spawn criteria? So this is on the. I haven't touched this. This is exactly as it comes in the package. So yeah, I haven't actually installed the latest yet. I'm still on 3.1.0 for anything we're doing right now. I have it downloaded and ready to go. So Brian, you told Manny that I could tell him what it is and then ban you. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. So so what I did with the other one is I spawned it, the other cave, that is. I keep hitting the wrong keys. I spawned it away from the cave and then dragged it back manually so that it went into the terrain. Try turning off check slope and set it to none. Okay, so I'll just undo that spawn. I seem to have duplicated a lot of the spawners for some reason. Alright, so you're saying turn off check slope, set it to none. Okay, check slope. Collisions, height, slope, set it to none. Okay. Alright, so it now is saying it can do there. So if I spawn it close to the edge again. Oh, that was a right click. Okay, that is looking like exactly what I want. That is the behavior I expect. That is lovely. And unless there's a good reason for it to not have that as a default setting, I would strongly recommend making that the default setting. That looks precisely like I wanted it. I expected it to come out. If there is a good reason for it, thank you for educating me. Yeah, it does look great. I totally agree with you. I was saying to Brian earlier on that there's no accounting for users. That we're pretty hopeless, generally speaking. So I'm going to remove that other one. You're welcome, Manny. You're saying thanks for finding it, so I'm assuming that is considered a thing that you might want to improve. You're welcome. I appreciate your products a lot, and if I can help you improve them by finding opportunities, then I shall. I think we want another cave up here. Now that I can have the cave I want. Oh, lovely. Look at that. That's awesome. I really like it. I was thinking about I need to drop a load of rocks around the outside as well, but it seems to have already done it for me. That is excellent. I is happy. Now, I will show you something else that was a problem. Since you are here, let me go to here, and we'll do it here. If I go to my ruins, I have the ruins with vegetation master. So if I spawn one, I get no vegetation. I have not yet tried spawning any other vegetation using just the tree spawner or anything. We were having problems with it earlier, but I did get vegetation with the ruins. It's just this time I'm not getting vegetation with the ruins. I don't know why that is. And while you're thinking about that for a moment, I'm going to go to the generic trees. Do I have a trees object to put them under yet? I don't think I do. Trees. And put that in there. So let's see if this does this. Yeah, this has a flow rate of 25, right? So if I click, it should spawn anywhere. And if I control click, I got something. I don't know what that was. Oh, that's a. So I got the probe, but not the actual tree. Right. Nothing at all happening here. If I reduce this down to a more sensible level, it still doesn't. It was doing before, but it kept being a bit unpredictable one way or the other. We eventually did maintenance and it worked. But we have done maintenance on this install. So that I don't know what's going on there. Let me go back a bit. Try playing around with the spawn criteria. Okay, so you're talking now about the ruins, so I'll go back to that because I know I overlapped a bit. So let me just get rid of... Did all those trees spawn something before I do that? And a Jenna... Oh, it's not under Jenna, is it? Where does it put them? I forget. Oh, I'll ignore them. It doesn't matter. Oh, it does matter, though, if there's colliders there, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's put all those all those light probes in because I was doing all that clicking around. I have a whole ton of light probes in. I'm assuming that that's why they've been put there. I didn't click that many times, though, so maybe not. All right, ruins. I'll ignore what I'm doing there. This is just a prototype level, so that's fine. So put that in, and you're saying try playing around with the spawn criteria and start by force spawn. So force spawn there. Still nothing. No vegetation. But we're not getting any vegetation with trees, so that implies to me that maybe there's a problem with the tree prefabs, because we did have an asset database issue earlier on. So maybe I should check that. I got really confused earlier by these non-game objects. I was expecting to see something. So as a user, I was like, oh, that's a bug. And even Brian saw it, and as you know, checked in with you. The light probes are supposed to be there. That's good. I wonder why, though, because there's nothing in that. Why is there a big cluster here? I'm sure I'm not much of a light probe person, so don't worry about explaining. I'll ask you on Discord where it's easier to tell me. Ruins with vegetation. Ruins plants 01, which is this one. And so I have to go in here, I think. Where are we? Subspawner, ruins 01. So subspawner in here. No. Yep, tactical gamer. I agree. I mean, the problem is if you hide it when it's null, how do you put something in it? So there needs to be a checkbox or something which is selecting the way you're configuring it. So I would say have a checkbox which will hide all the things that you don't need when you... I think it's the subspawners that are creating it. But yeah, something that tells dumb users like me it's okay that there's nothing here. Because when something unexpected happens, like it's happening right now, it can get very confusing. Where am I supposed to find the actual tree or plant that this is creating? Oh my gosh, Manny thinks it's a great idea. Whoa, actually making me feel useful now. Might want to explain the root thing. Oh, I don't think, Brian, I don't think that was a problem. I think that was just accidental, that I moved it out of the hierarchy and then it happened to work because it stopped working again after that. So I don't think the root thing works. These spawners here are working as expected. Although, let's just try that with one of these spawners here just to check. Yeah, still same behavior. That would be expected. So I think that one was a red herring, Brian. Jenna, spawners, ruins, subspawner. Ah, it's in the ruins because it's got ruins at the front and I'm looking in trees and vegetation. That makes sense. And this is 0101. That one. Details. Ground plant. Okay, am I supposed to be seeing a prefab here? No, because there's subspawners. Okay, keep going. We do have it there. Is that alive? That is alive. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's that. I'm not going to go into. I'm going to do it with the trees because there's less things to check out there. Let's just check that this tree prefab is in place. Vegetation trees 01. Subspot, is that the right place? Looks right. Let me know in chat if this is the wrong place. Doesn't have, oh, subspawners, gets me every time. More subspawners. More subspawners, well. And we have a tree. Excellent. And that tree does work. All right, so it's not that the prefab is broken. Where are we? Let's see on chat. I'd expect it to have like a parent game object group for spawn stuff. It does. I think what you're seeing is these here, and I got fooled by that. Apparently this has been fixed in a release. Let me just start that upgrade. Before I start this, procedural worlds folks, is it safe to upgrade in place with Jenna Pro? Okay, I see Tactical Gamer is saying that you found problems with 2021.2. Restarting the editor helps. That is interesting. I shall just wait for confirmation. I should be good. Okay, I should be good. Thank you, Manny. I will also restart the editor, given what Tactical Gamer says. I don't feel like I'm actually going to get much of a video out of this one, but I do think we're getting a lot of use, a lot of learning about the pack. I'm learning a ton here. This is really helpful, and I hope seeing a user using it is also helpful to you. All right. Pre-compiled assemblies, we can fix this. Yes, that's because I'm on a pre-release Gaia. I mean pre-release Unity. It's Josh Bryan. I read that as your name is Josh Bryan rather than it's Josh Bryan. Text is difficult. Okay, so this should be done pretty quickly. So, Philip, you're saying you just started deep diving into Gaia and Jenna. I've been deep diving into Gaia and Jenna for years, and I still haven't got a clue what I'm doing, as you're witnessing. I'm glad you're finding it interesting. I've done some real stuff with the procedural worlds tools that I am super happy with. They are fantastic tools. Jenna is one of those things I've yet to truly learn how to use. I've used it a lot, but never felt that I've used it. Oh, this is interesting. I'll finish that sentence in a minute. Got compilation errors. All right. So we're going to ignore those. We'll fix those. Excellent. And you find that the tutorials helped you. That's great. I make the tutorials because I always forget what I've done. So I make them so that I can go back to them and go, how the hell did I do that? There's a weird height limit on potentially a weird height limit on vegetation. Okay. All right, looks like we have a version problem here. This is post-processing bug fix. Internal editor utility. You told me I could just upgrade over the top, Manny. All right, so let me just check. No, the post-processing, I didn't change the Unity version, only the Jenna version. Delete the script. Yes, that's usually the thing to do, isn't it? External editor, post-processing bug fix. Okay. Post-processing bug. Oops. Delete. All right. Yeah, blame Manny. That's perfectly all right, Brian. It is Manny's code. We know. So we're good. Poor Manny. He was slagged off when he wasn't here, and now he's slagged off when he is here. Although, to be fair to Brian, he's only started slagging off since you arrived. I was slagging you off before you got here. Okay. So earlier on, I was trying to commentate on these progress bars, and I failed dismally. So I'm just going to waffle randomly over this one. And see where we go. It has created the compiled. Is that a problem in the release, do you think? Or is that just because of some weirdness in my... I mean, I am on 2021.2, so there could be all sorts of weirdness happening there. Yeah, Brian, my point wasn't that you're always nice to him. My point was that you waited for him to arrive before slagging him off, so he at least could get you back in some way at some point. All right, so I have done nothing else but restart at the moment. So shift click looks good. Nope, nothing. Oh yeah, you were asking about these things. These are actually empty objects. I thought you said that bug had been fixed, Brian, in the latest version of Jenna. That's why I did the update. Brian, you're mistaken. Manny, get rid of that bug. You did get rid of it once, or at least I read you'd got rid of it. But it seems to have come back. All right, so I can delete all these as well because they're all noise. POI, that's right. I changed the name. Let's try the ruins one. Nope, still no vegetation. Manny, well, it's actually a mix of things here. The new version with the new post-processing stack, they must have either removed a namespace of some kind, but the script is actually no longer necessary. Okay, got it. So it's a combination of both. Fair enough. All right, so we're still not getting any vegetation here. Don't have spawn to target set. Okay. It must be on the screen now for you to see it, so click that. Well, before I click it, there is a change here. That's interesting. It's not spawn to target, though. I don't believe I made any change to that myself. Let's set spawn to target. Nope, still no vegetation. Re-import the spawner pack. Again? Okay. At least it's small. This is the third time I've re-imported it tonight, though. Import. So the version number has increased, look. So the reason I highlight that is because earlier on in the stream I saw that it said I had an update. So I downloaded the update, but then when I imported it, it said it was still on version 1.0.0. So I figured that there was some weirdness happening. So maybe there was a package manager bug there that meant that it never actually imported that update. Yeah, Philip, 2020 was a nightmare of a release of Unity. It was awful. 2021 is bringing things back together again, but it's still in beta. So, yeah, it is a big patchwork of problems. But I think 2020 was kind of a bridging release from what I can see. All right, spawn. Nope, sorry. Shall I do the maintenance thing? That was something Brian asked me to do last time. I have done it recently, but no harm in doing it again, right? I won't click the button until you say it's worth doing. Just in case there's something else you want me to check first. Yeah, Aaron, I totally agree. I've actually started to switch to 2021 in all of my experimental projects just to see how it's going. I'm not touching 2020. Can you try to paint a higher part of the train? Yes, I certainly can. A higher part of the train. I don't know that I've got a higher part that is got grass on it. I guess. Oh, look at that. I did do some ruins. Oh no, I painted that separately. Okay, so let's find a nice high piece like here. And all right, so still nothing there, and that is higher than down there where I did some trees before. Where have they come from? Because I don't have spawners in. I must have put them in there. They can't have created themselves, can they? Oh, God. I'm actually seriously considering that my computer is doing things without me. I'm on my trees. Okay. So it is doing the trees, but not the vegetation with the ruins. Oops, I'm on the... How did I get back on that? Oh, because I was doing Control-Z. All right, so the trees are coming in. All right, so if I go back down here again, yeah, it's a height rule, as you suspected. So spawn criteria. Is this a bug then? Because the spawn is from 0 to 500, and if I click the visualize, it says that it's going to work. Let's try the 4 spawn. And it isn't doing it on 4 spawn. It's doing this, but it isn't doing the actual object. I think we have a bug, do we? Thanks, Brian. I thought it was going crazy. You're telling me I painted those trees in. That's very reassuring, because I don't remember doing it. And I don't see any... Oh, I've got vegetation spawner there. That's what it is. All right, so these work. Let's try these down here. Control. All right, so they work just like the ones that were up there. So those are a different spawner. I'm glad you're humouring me, Brian. All right. So those ones work, but they're a different spawner. So there's something about that spawner. Let me try that on paint. Is it on paint? Yeah. So let me... Oh, hang on. What's the flow rate at? No, it's nice and low. Could you try going to Nature Pack, Genus Spawners, Ruins, Subspawners, Layout, and select 4 spawn on those spawners? Yes, I can. So where are we going? Nature Pack. So presumably you mean the content Nature Pack. Yeah. Genus Spawners, Ruins, Subspawners. And select 4 spawn on those spawners. Can I multi-edit those? I cannot. Okay. Can I just do it one at a time? Did I 4 spawn? Of course I can just do it one at a time. I'm skipping the low poly ones. I presume that's okay. You did. You said Brian, you're saying you did suggest this earlier. You did, and we didn't get round to testing it because all sorts of ACID database things happened, didn't they? Ruins. There you go. That's what it is, Manny. And Brian did have that before you arrived. I just forgot that he'd suggested it with some other stuff that happened. But that is now working. So I'll still have an errand. Well, I'll just have another couple over here. That's all right. Oops, wrong one. I wanted to do that. All right, so I'm hoping that I didn't change any of those manually. So if they are in the pack with that set, something happened that I didn't knowingly do. I'm picking my words carefully because apparently I spawned a whole bunch of stuff around the corner there that I can't remember doing. So who knows? But I guess if you check on your copy there to see whether they're set. Yeah, it makes sense now. Those vegetation spawners have slope limits, and when you spawn on a slight angle at the root level, it causes them to spawn, not to spawn. We'll reevaluate those spawners and ensure they have decent defaults. Yeah, no worries. I'm learning how you've put these things together. That's why I bought the pack to learn Jenna more. I don't own the Fantasy Kingdom pack, and I wasn't going to spend however much money that is just to learn it. But when I saw this one, I thought, oh, there's my opportunity. Yolan had played with your Fantasy Kingdom one and had said, oh, it is a great learning resource. All right, so I'm just going to leave that random stuff in. Let's put some vegetation around here. So I want some plants. Do I have any plants yet? Let's put that tree in with the other one so I don't get myself confused again. Plants. Oh, I thought this was... Yeah, that's okay. So if I just do that... Yeah, there we go. Dots them around nicely. Good stuff. Alright. And you know what? I'm going to put a line of trees coming down here as well. That's already on paint. Good. What I'm thinking is... Oh, no, I don't want it like that. I want it much narrower than that. What I'm thinking is to kind of shelter the... Oh, really? Did I move the wrong thing? Range? Is that the range of the seed? Maximum distance from the click locate... Well, that's weird. Is it really 7.6 that I was doing there? Let's bring it down really small. All right. That's not right, is it? I have a very small spawn radius, and if I click and drag, it's painting them all the way up there when I'm clicking down here. That can't be right, can it? I did notice that when I was mucking around with the spawning along a riverbank. I was trying to get plants to spawn along the riverbank, and I was setting a very small spawn range, something like a meter or something. And they were still spawning in the river, which was like 3 meters. So I'm not sure whether I'm doing something here or what. But show you again, just in case you didn't see it, Manny. I'm on a very small spawn range. And if I spawn down somewhere where it will go, there you go. You see it's going way beyond where I'm clicking. Is that expected behavior? We need some vegetation down here. Alright, so this was not the prefab, so I need to do the spawners. I'll drag them in. I can see that you still have empty objects leaking into your scene. Yeah, I need to find out why that's happening in the newer version of Unity. Okay, so it's about my Unity version. I thought I'd seen it fixed in an earlier version. Philip says, running into these difficulties makes for the best opportunity to learn. I totally agree. And in all honesty, if Brian and Manny weren't here, I would be spitting feathers and complaining, and I would probably have loaded up UFE by now and be working on the other part of the game. But with two folks here who from Procedural Worlds, I am so lucky. What kind of customer support do you need? This is awesome. As for the objects spawning outside the spawn range, we're aware of that issue and we're trying to add a mask so that the objects don't spawn beyond the area. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, it's true, Brian. Yeah, we each learn off each other. I know watching a customer using your products is by far the most educational way. We do it at work an awful lot. It's all about watching what people do rather than what you expect them to do. And trust me, I am always doing things that people don't expect. I'm going to delete all of these spawners because we don't have that sub-spawner thing going on. Actually, I shouldn't need to because it was just trees, wasn't it? It was the ruins that were doing it. Why am I not getting this now? Maybe it's... No, not the flow rate, the range. Put the range back up because it was working before. No. Alright, so do it on the sub-spawners. So go into vegetation, trees, sub-spawners. I'm just going to try and do the same trick on these to see if it works. Just because, well, why not? Now I don't know which one I had selected. Well, I'm working with trees, so it'll be this one, right? Yeah, so it does work. So I presume that means it's the same thing. I don't want these trees spawning in here either. That's kind of difficult for you to do, though, because some people might want them spawning in. So I don't know how you could fix that one. I would just do that. All right. So now let's see if I can make a road. So, oh, I didn't get my line of trees up here. All right, let me play with a road first, or a path more accurately from here. That looks like a nice place. Now, can I remember how to do this? I've done this once. What we got on here? The SP root part has indeed been fixed, but I noticed that the spawn to target is not working properly in that version of Unity. Oh, I see. There's a different bug that you're spotting, and that might be related to the other thing, right? Clyde, my gosh, everybody's here. Spawn to target, is that what you were saying about the trees up here? If I get rid of all that junk and go to the generic tree, and that's multiple trees. Somewhere in here I've got a single, there it is. That gives me a single tree if I recall correctly. And so I should be able to just do, yeah, it's not quite a single tree, but... Oh, that's nice. It iterates on all of the ones I placed in that one drag. That's good. I like that feature. Oh my god, Adam's here as well. Hey Adam. We're having great fun. I'm doing some good bug discovery, and the team are telling me how to get going and get working. So we've got a good flow going on here. I was just saying a few moments ago that you can't possibly help for better customer support than this. I am so lucky this evening. I don't like those. They're too big. Actually, they're all good. I want to hide the caves. So that's good. And I'll bring these down here. Come on. I think there might be too much rock here for them to spawn. If you're using textures. Looks like there might be. So I'll put them up there instead. Good. Right, I'm going to need to remove a few of those. Otherwise there's going to be no way through. that big one there can go. Come on. There it is. And maybe that big one too. Gives a player a clue that it's there. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, you can see that. All right. I don't know why I've suddenly got into level design. That's not my intention with this, but I'm getting distracted by the cool tools. Yeah, how many of the procedural world people have got here? You're doing my concurrent views thing a lot of good here. I think I've probably got more procedural worlds people here than I normally have viewers. Wow, look at all these. Let's get rid of all those. All right, spline rather. Fence. Oh, that's right. There wasn't something. So there's no kind of path or roads one, is there? Anything under extras? Bridge, road sign, skeleton, particles, rocks, campfires. Nope, don't see anything. So in that case, I do it manually, do I? I know there's a big lag on the thing, and you might be shouting at me, no, don't do that, click here. But I'm going to start this way anyway. Path. All right, what's going on? All the procedural worlds team are having a chat now. So, Brian, Clyde, Josh, Manny, and Adam. Wow, that's wow. Mandatory viewing for the team. Yeah, we were seeing a customer clumsily click around and find things does help. But yeah, that is amazing. The whole procedural worlds team are here. Excellent. All right, so the instructions are up here. So create nodes, control left click, select a node with things. So I'm going to try what I do with easy roads and come out high. I'm going to, actually I need to start where I can see the entrance. So we put one there. Oh, I did the wrong click. I always do the wrong click. There we go. I read the instructions and I still do the wrong click. That is the oh, I let go and it's create. Is that creating the spring? The spline because I let go of the button. Is that what's happening? I wanted to extend it more, but presumably I'm going to be able to just extend it. Or is this a procedure? Is this a Unity 2021? I'm going to do loads of stuff because I want to. It was a Unity thing. Right. It's doing it again. It's when I try to move. Oh, I can't move. Okay, so you're overriding some of the controls. Okay. I can't seem to fly around with my camera. I can only look. So I don't know where I'm going with this path because I can't see, which is fine. This is just a... Well, now I can move. I wonder what changed. Okay, that was weird. I don't think I did anything to prevent myself move and then start myself moving again, but everything seems fine now. All right, so then what do I do? All right. Philip, gotta say, love the pathfinding and the gender spline tool. Yeah, I haven't actually used that yet. I should try that, even though it's a bit unpredictable at times. Well, that's pathfinding for you. Turn it on and off, and the same spline gets the results I want. Really neat. So here's a feature request for you folks. Since the whole procedural worlds team are here, something I do with another product is I can create splines that follow the path between points of interest. So I can label things as points of interest, and I can click a single button and it will do pathfinding between them all. So it creates like a path network is what I use it for. So in this scene, I could, for example, connect the two caves together and then just click a button and it would just automatically route a path for me. I don't think you're doing that at the moment, but that is a killer feature, especially when you're doing it procedurally, which is why what I want to do with Jenna or Gina. I want to be able to use the spawners to place in a semi-procedurally way and then build paths and things between them. All right, so I oh yes, I have to drag an extension on. That's right. I remember now. So I go into in Jenna extensions maybe. And then I want a path, but I start with road, I think. Okay, that looked good. That appeared. And then I select it and I can edit it. All right, this is reasonably intuitive. I want a path profile, but let's do it with a road first. I don't want to bake it. Do I need a carve extension? I think I'm going to need a carve extension as well. By the way, procedural worlds folks, I have not read the documentation. So what you're seeing here is what I've picked up from watching your videos, like half watching them when I'm doing something else, and reading your Discord fairly frequently, and then just blundering through. So if you see me succeeding, you're doing a great job, because I have not read the documentation. And if you don't see me succeeding, it is not my fault for not reading the documentation. All right. So now I want to find a path. I want to turn this into a path. I think I do these individually, but I'm going to put that before the other one because it seems to make sense. Although that didn't seem to work. Move it back down that way. Oh no, that's just because I moved something. It definitely appeared before, so I'm assuming when I carve it will appear. Well, let's find out if I can undo. Okay, so it won't appear, but it did carve. Okay, and if I undo, it goes away. Nice. All right, it's because it's not active. I must have clicked that inadvertently when I was moving them. Okay. Okay, I don't want it to level that much. And this was too rigid. So I've got my noise here. And I'm not very good with noise. I have to play around just randomly. So if you're looking at me and shouting at me going, do the blah blah, just bear with me. Okay, so I can't go any higher. What I'm looking for is I want just this section to not have this line here. This is going to be a path, and it wouldn't have cut it away like that. So do I change the noise fall off maybe? What happens if I do that? Okay, so that brings it in. That might be doing what I want. Let's come around this side. My noise looks awful now. So that is kind of doing what I want. Just see what I do. If I bring it down, it doesn't really do anything beyond there. Okay. Right. Is that softening it? I think it is. Yeah, I think that's what I want, actually. Fairly close. Let's just get rid of that frequency, because that's what made it all horrible. That actually looks much more like what I want. Let's press carve and see what it does. That's a lot better. All right, so I can get what I wanted. Nice. That is exactly what I wanted. Cool. Shoulder size maybe. Okay, so what would shoulder size have done? Let's find out. Is that on the road? Oh, I've disabled it again. Or was that on the carve? Shoulder. So let's see what that does. that extends it out. So I could bring it in or bring it out. So that would have resulted, I think, if I hadn't done that noise thing, I think that would have resulted in just moving the hard line further back. But the softening of it. Oh, I don't know though. That looks to be doing a similar thing, but in a different way. Yeah, I think maybe you're right. Let's just hit carve and see what that does. Yep, that works too. All right, so there's two ways of doing it. One of them was probably by luck, because noise is fairly random, of course. And I suspect that shoulder size one is going to be more... And that was probably a bit too extreme, but is it going to be a bit more predictable to finish the sentence that I started? Nice, thank you. Yeah, Philip, you're still trying to find out how to do that too, as a thing. Yeah, I mean, there's a problem with tools like this. Well, it's not the problem with the tool; it's the problem with, there are so many variations in what you can do. That there are 10 different ways of doing it. And earlier on, when I was doing the stamping, Brian said, "Oh, turn the global on; it'll be better." And then I'd already done, by the time I saw it, I'd already done something. And he said, "Oh well, yeah, that works too." It's how as long as you get a result you're happy with, right? Okay, roads. Where are the profiles? Is there a path profile in here? There's sand, there's gravel, there's dirt, there's cobblestone. All right, let's try sand, because this is going up to a cave. That's a bit intense. What can I do about that? Okay. Masks. Oh, that's the shader settings. I wondered why it looked a bit different. Okay. So, where can I change the actual... Oh, they're here. I didn't see them. There's the my brain. Textures here. So presumably, do I need to apply them to the terrain again? I've lost my spline. There it is. Well, when I just dropped it in before, it just worked, didn't it? Let's have a look at some of the others. I can figure out how to do it later. Definitely not a railway track. I thought that might be kind of like tyre tracks or something. No, maybe dirt. All right, we're getting closer. It's a bit too clean. Come on, give us this terrain shader you keep promising us. Is there a blend? I want a blend between the two. Is there a way of blending? Let's see what's in chat in case somebody's shouting a suggestion. Fantasy Kingdom path has a nice path. Can't remember. I don't have Fantasy Kingdom, no. And so therefore I don't have your spawner pack either. It's a very expensive pack, and I don't really use Cincy stuff. I am going to be using it in your game jam. Alright, how can I... This is mask parameters. Is this going to... Okay. Alright, I'm not sure what I'm doing with that, so I'm not going to muck with it. The smoothness is doing what I would expect it to do. The ambient occlusion is also doing what I would expect it to do. I just wasn't being very vicious with it. For spline path, if you use texture extension, you can blend. Okay, sounds good. So go find the extensions. Extensions, texture. Do you mean terrain? Let's have a look and see. No, that's adjusting it unless there's there is a texture. All right. Okay, so if I remove, let's deactivate that for a minute. If I remove the profile, what happens? Okay, so now if I turn the terrain texturing on, and so I can use textures that are on the terrain already. Okay, that makes sense. And you say I can blend it, so that would be strength. Yay, look at that. Yep, that makes sense, Philip. Thank you. And if I now click texture, is that the do it button? It is. There we go. All right. So procedural worlds, folks. I want to be able to do that inside of the profile for the road. Whether that makes sense or not, I don't know. I don't know enough about the asset and the how you would work it yet. But that would be my natural expectation. I definitely need. Oh, there it is. I definitely need noise, and you've given me noise. Probably want that to be lower frequency, not higher. There we go, that's better. And then amplitude. No, not amplitude. Is it octaves? I can't actually see what I'm doing. Let's move in a bit. Not seeing a big effect there. I do need to learn what I'm doing with the noise. Jordan, Swiss. Those are noise things I've never seen before. I'll leave it on Perlin. Noise fall off. Does that would be the reverse of what I would expect. Let me see. If I move this, it's really hard to see because I have the strength so low. I'm not sure what that curve is doing. I'm not seeing any actual change. Let's be very drastic. Yeah, I'm not actually seeing anything there. So I'll put it back where it was because I don't know what that was doing. Shoulder fall off. Let's see what that does. All right, so that is increasing. It appears to be allowing the noise to flow through more for some reason. Okay, so now if I play with these, nope. All right, no, they're not. That's probably just in the preview then. All right, nothing that I'm doing here seems to be doing anything on the preview. It probably is going to do something if I click texture. Yeah, it is kind of mapping what the preview is doing. It's very jaggedy. That's all to do with the settings that I've done. Right, so I don't know what I've mucked up there. I'm assuming if I delete that and put the terrain extension back in, I'm presuming when I drop it on that to add it in, it creates a copy of it, and I wasn't editing. I haven't permanently edited the. Yep, it did because the noise is not enabled, so that's good. All right, oops, and it's on flatten and everything. So that is how I would have expected it. All right, might be tricky to do stuff like blend the road extension because I think that one creates an actual mesh, but combining the right texture with the road extension can help blending. Okay. URP and yeah, I am in built-in, so URP and HDRP would give me a better set of options. That's understandable. Spline texture, the jaggedness probably comes from the terrain resolution. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Philip. Probably does. All right, so you're saying that the terrain isn't likely to work particularly well. So maybe then if I go back to my road and I put oh, there's a Cincy Nature Mud Road profile. Yeah, still very strong, isn't it? But let's see. Normals aren't going to make a huge difference to the strength. Drop the smoothness down a bit. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to spend quite a bit of time figuring that out. But I'm going to have vegetation grow on that, I think, which will take away some of the thing. But I just want a really light path, so I need to find a better texture to put on there, which is going to work well. And if I'm understanding the chat correctly, I really need to be using URP or HDRP to get the blending that I want, which is fine. Okay. All right, so I know how to do that, river, and then I'm going to click the button to do the Gaia spawning. Because my goal for this stream was to learn to use this asset, which I think we're getting there. I'm actually doing stuff after all the initial bugs, and I know how to, well, some bugs, but some human error, plus some Unity issues. I know how to work around those things now, so I'll be able to do my real level when I've got time, but I want to get the first part of the game working in this. I'm not seeing an obvious place for a river, so let's do it from here. Right, so how do I do a river? Get rid of all that. And why have I got two paths? That's interesting. That one. That must have been when that weird stuff happened when the camera wasn't moving. I may have had a misclick or something somewhere. So I'll get rid of that one because that's not being used. So I'm going to need a river is a spline, I think. River flow, road spline, spline. Let's have it come down here, eh? So, river. Pathfinding. Enabled. Is this what I want to do, a river? Get sea lag. Yes, I'm pretty sure it does. Right. So, since it has a sea level thing, that would suggest that that's what I want to do. Use heuristic B. Presumably that's an alternative pathfinding thing. Max grade, cell size. Okay, so control left click. So I'm going to have to give it a starting node. For river, the river flow is the go-to. Is it? Okay. Oh, river. I was reading river flow as being like the flow of the river, not the sort of, you know, meaning the oh, what's the again? My mind has gone completely crazy on me. Oh. Look at that. I don't know what I did, but it did it for me. But I don't want it starting there. I presume I just told it to start there. Meaning like the shader flow, the surface of the river. I want it to start there, so how do I do it? Control left click. There we go. Didn't make it down to the sea level. Do I need to do a... Yeah, I need to... Oh, it's already got the right sea level. So it just didn't make it. Must be too flat down there, or maybe there's a... Oops. Maybe there's a little bit of a rise there. So can I now add points? Control right click to do it. Control left click. If I do that, does it add it to it? That was shift. It does. Okay, so then I can sort... Oh, that's a gap now. Ah! Deleted it all. And control click. No, missed it. What did I do? Oh, I deleted the spline. The river flow. River flow. Oh, we got in chat before I try it for another time. Clyde, I never thought of pathfinding for river creation. I'll have to give it some thought. Is that not what it's doing already? I guess not, because pathfinding doesn't really go downhill. Could use pathfinding as well, but it might be get river flow upwards. Well, actually, having the river flow upwards isn't a problem because you're going to carve it. So as long as when you do your carving, you're actually carving to a level that's below the previous point, that's okay. You know, the river would do that. So I think it's okay for it to go uphill a certain amount. Obviously, you don't want it going like 10 feet up in the air, but going up a few inches or even a few feet should be fine. Equalizer, hey. Oh, it wasn't a gab. It went a gap. Right, I was reading gab because that's what you mistyped it. Gab. I was thinking, it wasn't a gap. It went underground. That makes sense. And so if I'd done the carve like I was just talking about, it would have worked out okay. Okay, good. I will make sure I allow that to happen next time then. So control left click. There we go. Not sure that's the... Yeah, it is the right path, isn't it? Look at it. That's quite good. So then down here, we've got to just help it down. So is it... It's control left click to add. So you're saying it's not actually... Oh, that's because I'm shift left clicking. Again, users. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, that definitely has gone underground. So presumably when I carve... That's going to be all right. So create river spline, create river flows. Is that not what I just did? Let's find out. All right. I don't know what I just did. When I click the create river flows, that seems superfluous because I feel like I already have it. Let's create a river spline. Excellent. Okay, so I could have created the river spline from down here and then extended it, but I think that's okay the way I've just did it. Once I've done the carve, that's going to flow correctly. Oh, maybe not. That's flowing. Oh, that's because of the hill. Are these actually? Excuse me. Are these actually connected? They must be because they were created in one. Oh no, they're disconnected. Have I got two river splines here? No, it looks like there's only one. Alright, well I'll see what happens when I do the carve. Yeah, it does look like there's a break there. So maybe I should delete these ones here and do what Clyde said. Extend it once I've actually created the flow. So remove nodes, select the node and delete. Oh, and that's walking back up for me. Okay, so there wasn't a break. It still went underneath, but it was doing weirdness. It made me uncomfortable, and Clyde had already said, "Oh yeah, just create it and extend it." So that's okay. I'm not sure what's happening here. That would appear to be a meaningless node. Yep, that deleted safely. Right, so now what is going on there? Oh, I had the carve enabled, so I've still got these weird nodes here, so I'll get rid of those. And that was where the flow had originally ended. So we're now back to what Clyde suggested we do. So I now extend, create nodes. I'll shift clicked again. Presumably I have to select that and then control click. Yeah, there we go. That's better. I presume all this weirdness will go away when I carve. Okay, good. All right. So a feature request for you. When I was playing with the rivers earlier today, I felt that you should be able to start at a distance here and then end at a different width is what I was after. A width at the top and then a different width at the bottom. Ideally, you'd be able to go into each node and change the width at each node. But, you know, just simply starting at the top, I want to be a meter, and at the bottom, I want to be 3 meters. And then you kind of average it out along the spline. That would be pretty cool. All right, so we seem to have this weirdness here that may or may not go away, but we've got too many nodes at the top, so I'll delete the first one. Right. Okay, carving. Those defaults look okay. Let's just click the button and see what happens. Okay, this is bad here. We'll have to do some work there. Does all right when it comes down. That node needs to move because it's messing up this bit here. And then I'm not quite sure what's happening here. It hasn't. Maybe I need to lower that node down there. All right, so I'm going to undo that carve. I think I need to lower that node a bit because that was being weird. And then I've got this node wants to come out this way. Don't know how it blends with the water, so I'll move it. Oops, that's going to be too low, isn't it? Oh, what we've done. Gone all weird. I can get rid of that last node, actually. Oh, that's what I was doing. I was dragging the blue thing, not the actual node itself. And I want it to go a little bit deeper there. Okay. What we got here? Create the river spline, then you extend it. Okay, we've done that. It worked. Now just fine adjustments to make it look great. You can move the nodes and adjust. Okay, that's what I think I'm doing. So that's good. That's where I headed off. You ended up with multiple splines. Okay, did I? That was because I probably because I clicked the I was doing the extension inside of the node flow, the river flow thing. Just add a noise curve to the... Yeah, that's a good idea. Add a noise curve to the ending spline. Yeah. And click smooth. Okay, so that will sort out my things like this here. Good idea. So where are we? That will be on the spline. Smooth. Okay, maybe they're just a bit too close. If I delete that node, is it going to keep those connected? Let's find out. No. Okay. So I'm going to need to just manually manipulate those a little. And then we had a problem at the top here, didn't we? Did I? I know I already moved that one, didn't I? I think that one actually is above the ground, isn't it? Maybe not. There's a snap to ground button. There we go. Oh, did that do my whole spline? Of course it did. Okay, but that's probably okay. Let's see what the carve does now. I keep disabling it when I mean to select it to bring the thing up. Maybe move the checkbox to right the way over here, and then there's a big space for me to click on. minor point, but you know, minor points are what make the difference sometimes. All right, let's click carve and see what that does. Okay, we've still got this stuff going on at the top here, but that's looking better there and here. All right, so I think there is somewhere. Oh yeah, we want to do texture. I'm pretty sure I can change the width of the river texture mesh as well, so I'll probably come back to that with sand is good. Just leave you on the defaults, see what we get. Yeah, that looks just fine. I'd like to be able to blend it into the bank rather than it just stop. I guess that's the same issue as we were talking about before. Yeah, we should have it. See, I did it again. I accidentally clicked the box. This space is like, I'm just naturally going to go into the space and I'm just naturally going to the box. So if you could just shift it over, I wouldn't do that. You'll probably find that somebody else will say, I don't want it over there because it's too far away or whatever. So yeah, you do what you need to do, but that's my feedback. Okay, this surface has improved a lot. I used it on your first version and was quite disappointed, but it's got a lot better. The shader. Nice. You can connect the nodes back together after deleting one in the middle. Okay, change the end cap. Right. There's never... yeah, but the one who shouts loudest wins is what I find. Unfortunately, I don't have enough followers for me to be able to shout particularly loud. But I'll find somebody who's got loads and get them to say it. All right, change the end cap. Did you mean select the end node and do something, or was that how you connect them if you've disconnected? Yeah, I'm not seeing end cap. What you're suggesting I do? Right. While you're thinking about how to communicate that to me in a few characters. The water shader is completely redone. All right. Yeah, it does show. It definitely shows. I think I want to retexture because it's too grassy towards the edge. I need to spread it out a little bit. So presumably I just increase the width, but not anywhere near that much. Maybe if I reduce the strength a bit on the outer bit. There we go, look at that. Yeah, look at that. It's almost blending as well now. Let's make it a little bit more. No, width is what I was after. Oh, shoulder. What did that do? Oh, that increases the area it's going to fade over, I think. Yep, that's a bit intense now. So we are getting there. Reduce the strength. Oh, I should put some noise on it as well. Oops. Noise. I'll just leave it on the default and see what we get. There we go. That looks a lot better. Excellent. All right. I need noise on this carving. I didn't put any on, did I? Never mind. This will do for now. I am learning. I'm not getting perfection. All right. So in the river extension, there is a start cap and end cap distance. The start cap is what needed to be changed. Okay. Selected the extension and it will be in there. All right. So the river extension, so this one, start and end cap. There we go. So start depth. Oh, so I can have a whatever the word is, a shallower depth. There we go. River width. This is 20. Oh, that's. Is that the? I can't. It would help if I was looking at Is that the size of that? Yeah, it is. There we go. That's pulled that in up there. Okay, so 20 was pretty big, and now we've lost it up here. So then we've got, this is the end cap thing that you were talking about. So start end cap distance. Do I just reduce that? Ah, there we go. So we've got a spring now. Excellent. Brian says you can delete that node in the middle and then click on one of them and you can act like you're going to add a node. I see. Okay. So let's try it. So we got that one we don't need. So we're going to delete it. So then click on that and then act like you are going to add a node, but click on the other node. Okay, so it was, let me remind myself. Create is control left click, so I'll click on that. Aha, perfect. Yes, if I'd thought about it, that's actually fairly intuitive. We've got some weirdness going on with the edges there. I think I've made my river too narrow. My river width. Let's see, has that gone away? It's still a little bit. That's the terrain resolution, isn't it? Yeah, it's still doing it. That's the terrain resolution that's doing that, though. It's not a problem because the character isn't going to be doing that in the game. Huh. Yeah, that's way too smooth. I don't know if I'd put noise on it. Would it have made the bed unsmooth, noisy? If not, feature request so that I can have dry and fuller rivers. Add a little to the start depth. Okay. I can tell Brian's played with the river more. Ah, I see what you're saying. We're a bit lost here. So if I increase my start depth, that's good. Yep. Yeah, Brian's played with this. So that looks a little weird there. I know it's not as steep, but that's a very sudden, you know, you got a solid line and then it comes down and you got another solid line. Shaders are so hard. They really are. Okay, cool. Got some nice waviness in the side there. I'm not sure how that came about. Maybe I did have some noise in. But that's kind of nice. Maybe that was in the original terrain as well. Okay. Alright, so that looks good. Oops. I did the old... completely lost what I was on. Go find the river spline again. Oh, I'm underneath. What the heck? Wow. Where the heck am I? There we go. I thought I'd gone into isometric then. It was doing such weird things. Brian, I will delete the node at the bottom of the small hill. At the top-ish. That's the clearest instruction you've given all night, Brian. I will delete the node at the bottom of the small hill at the top-ish. Brilliant. That's just classic. Let's see if I can pass that. So presumably you're talking about this area here where I was saying it looked a bit weird. So at the bottom, at the top. So maybe you meant at the bottom and at the top. Maybe you meant that one and that one. Shall I just try it? I can undo, can't I? You wrote bottom of the hill first, I think. Delete the node at the bottom of the hill. Yeah, I'm going to do the bottom one first. Bang. And then select, control click. A little higher. All right. So I did one down here. Well, that one's now gone. So let's try doing that one as well. And you might want me to put that other one back now. Let's see. Right, yeah, because we have a funny wiggle now because we haven't got it. But it has improved the flow of the river there. That's for sure. Just need to maybe recarve. Because that seems weird. Or I could... What's that say? A little higher. So the nodes determine the rapids. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, so the distance between the nodes creates the knowledge it has of the steepness of the slope. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Let's see, how do we fix this? I think maybe recarve it on its new path will probably be just fine, won't it? Does adjusting the bezier also influence the shader? I don't know. Shall I try it? Why not? Don't do us any harm, does it? It's... No, I don't think it is significantly in changing it. There is a bit of a change in there, but I don't feel like it's making a massive difference. Maybe if it was on a shallower bit, we might see more difference. So let's just undo both those. All right. Is Isaac here? Clyde is asking if Isaac is here. I have no idea. Isaac has not spoken up if he is here, or at least I've not noticed. All right, so let's try carving again. Ooh, that was a bit extreme, wasn't it? I should have known that because I had that big purple patch. So, oh, now I've broken everything. Yay! Alright, so that's just because I've got nodes all over the place now. There we go. And then snap to ground. I think that was the right thing to do. Trying to find something that doesn't have a... Alright, so that looks alright. I mean, it would be nice if we had that accelerating a bit coming here and then down. I guess I could do that by putting another node at the top here. Let's try that. So to put a node in, do I just do that? Did that create a new node on the spline? It didn't. It created a junction, which I don't want. Insert. Hey Debayan, hey Anshuman. I'm sorry if I mispronounce either of those names. I try. Philip's well past your bedtime. It is well past my bedtime too, actually. It is, in fact. Quite it's late. All these procedural worlds people keeping me going and excited. Thanks for keeping us company, Philip. Have a good sleep. Yeah, tips and tricks. I'm glad you call it that. Randomly discovering things under the guidance of procedural worlds staff, I think, is the long form version of that. Thanks a lot. Have a good night. Brian, you will need to delete one of them and then add a node in between and then connect. That makes sense. That makes sense. So I will delete that one. And so then it's control click. So what I wanted to do is put, if I move that one back a little and then move that to where I want it to start to accelerate, and then connect. And that does fairly close to what I wanted. We've got a little bit of white water here. Yeah. So if I knew more about the effect of putting down the things, in other words, if I practiced more, I think I would be able to get what I want there. And so let me try here. I think I can improve here too. Ooh, nearly. Still a bit vicious at the bottom there. But this is, I'm getting a feel for this now. This is good. This is good. I can improve on this stuff with practice. Okay. Yeah, I know, I'm Indian. My name's hard for you. Yeah, I have. Fortunately, I have an Indian in my team, and he educates me on these names. Takes him a long time, I'm afraid. It's also based off the slope. Yeah, that makes sense. It would be the speed would be based off the slope as well. So if I did some carving here, because it does suddenly go very shallow here. So if I edited the terrain a little bit here and lowered it down a bit at this point, we would probably have less of a problem there. I'm not going to play with that now. I do want to start wrapping up. We need to do some work on where it comes in here as well. The merging isn't working particularly well. Oh, that isn't bringing the... I would expect that to bring the surface of the river up with it, but wasn't doing. All right. So I was saying earlier on about the vegetation spawner. So go to the spawner. Oh yeah, this is the pre-built one, isn't it? So it's to put the reflections in. So do that one, and then I wanted to just try and spawn some vegetation along, and I had trouble with this earlier. So then I need to put a plants spawner in. Spawners. Oh no, where are we? Not finding my way around very easily at the moment. Oh, I want to be in the content pack, that's why. And vegetation, polygon, plants. Is that a single? Oops. A single one. Go to my river. Drop that in. No, wrong place. Did that? Oh, it added a spawner for me. That's nice. So I don't need that one. That was a nice little surprise. Okay. Use large ranges. Flow rate. So I want to increase or decrease? Decrease. So that's the distance between them. Okay. So what I'm trying to do here is create some vegetation along one side. Offset Y, rotation Y, so it's going to be X. Okay, so we'll bring that to there. Outside the river at all points. I want that to follow the spline. Is that? Guess it is really. It's very straight there. Okay. And then reduce the range. So I'm assuming this is similar to the problem we saw earlier, Clyde, where it was spawning well outside. But I would expect now only to get plants within that distance. But when I click spawn, I don't get any plants. All right, I've done something else wrong, maybe. And Schumann, thanks for the videos. You are most welcome. I enjoy making them. I learn a lot from making them. And the fact that other people can benefit from them is just super awesome. Clyde says he's going to be working more on the extension in the future after the new extrusion code. All right, cool. I think the river is improved a lot since I last used it. No question about that. So that's good. Tactical Gamer. I've got to go now. Greatly appreciate your input and feedback. No worries. You go fix the contact pack. For me, perfect. Thanks a lot, Tactical Gamer. Appreciate it. Good night. I'm going to be packing up myself very soon. But I'll just try and do some plantation and then click the Gaia spawner. And then I think we'll actually have a video out of this. Might take a bit of editing, but it's good. Definitely have the bit when all the procedural worlds folks are here. People need to see the level of care you folks have over your products and your customers. Brian says also align to spline. Okay, align to spline. I like saying that. Align to spline. So my daughter and I invented a new form of, or we thought we'd invented a new form of music called punk funk the other night, but it turns out that it already exists. Real shame. It's a good name though, isn't it? Punk funk. I like align the spline. All right, align the spline. How do I do that? Are we talking about on the spawner? Please make a simple video on procedural land cave generation. Cave generation is not something I know about. You can't actually do it with terrain because terrain is just a height, right? It's only a single vertical position. And to do a cave, you need a floor and a roof. So you can't do it. You can do it with meshes and things, and there are some tools out there that will enable you to do it. It's complex, and I've never done it. I am considering doing a programming one on procedural generation. Very simple stuff. Just create a fractal, generate not a fractal, sorry, a noise, and generate a terrain. Is that what you mean? Do you mean with code? Because if you mean just generating a terrain using something like Gaia, I have a few of those already. Yeah, I do have Digger. I've never actually loaded it up though. Actually, I think I did load it up and play with it in a demo scene, but that's as far as I've gone with it. Brian, on the spawner. On the spline, rather. No, the spawner. On here. Do you mean on this spawner? Can't do. This doesn't know it's on the spline. You can't mean there. You must mean on here. Align to spline. Right there. Okay. And do I click spawn? Okay, we've got the problem with it. Oh, it looks like there's some vegetation up there. Yeah, there is some vegetation up there, and here we are seeing it. It's coming into the river despite it being here. I assume that's the same problem that Clyde said he was aware of earlier on. But that's a bit frustrating. It means I can't do what I want. So, come on, people. I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna have to go back in the chat and see who it was who said they're gonna fix it just for me. There's another one. Yeah, Digger is pretty cool on the videos, that's for sure. Roland has done a great video of a tank using Digger. When you fire the shells, he uses Digger to create holes in the terrain with the shells, which is pretty awesome. So now I need to get rid of all this. Computer is telling me, don't get rid of that part. Computer is telling me to go to bed.
Sorry, I'm having trouble here. Can you say that again?
And now my Alexa is hearing me say the word Star Trek bridge word for the computational devices. We've got floating vegetation. Huh. That's not great. Yeah, they are always listening. And working from home, they are getting quite a lot of useful information. Okay, I'm going to delete all those. I can't do it with the... have I got any spline things in there? I haven't. Good. Alright, I'm just going to rely on Gaia to do it. So let's see what happens. Alright, so this is very roughly done. I love what we did with the cave there and the fact that we got it into the into the mountainside. That was awesome. That's where we need digger, isn't it? Ooh. Ooh. We could have a rock fall here. And then use digger. Oh. I like that idea. Maybe I'll end up doing figuring out how to do digger. Ask Alexa, is the government... Computer, is the government listening?
Amazon takes privacy seriously. For more information and to view Amazon's privacy notice...
Computer, shut up. So if you couldn't hear that, apparently Amazon takes privacy seriously. Quite what that's got to do with the government listening, I'm not sure, but... Also, there's an option to snap ground next to the align to spline. Oh, okay, so that's why they'd gone off up in the air. Okay, that makes sense. Anshuman, you're bad in C# programming. Okay. So you were talking about a different way of generation. I actually did, years ago, I wrote an open source procedural generation thing, just a noise as an experiment thing. So maybe I'll just dig that out again. I did some videos showing Digger some time ago. Oh, so Clyde, send us a link through to that stuff. I'm not sure I know where your channel is. Unfortunately, YouTube will cut it, but you can ping me on your Discord or DM me. You can find me in your as Sora the Orc, or am I still Wizard Code? I think I'm still Wizard's Code in Discord actually. So ping me your channel. They take it seriously. All right. Yes, they do. All right. Anyway, yes, Gaia. Let's get that spawned and then let's see what happens. I'm intrigued to see if we get stuff in the rivers and on the roads. That's really what I'm intrigued about. And then I have my initial level just to start building the game jam game from. Gaia tools. I want not runtime. Stamper. Not stamper. Biome. Turn off the textures and click spawn biome. Let's see what we get. Ooh, the tension. The tension. I should have done this before we started joking about the government listening and things. Okay, we've got nice grouping of trees by type. That looks pretty good. I like that. Still don't have control back. Come on. Still thinking. There we go. It's coming. Nearly there. I know it looks like I have control, but that's just the while it's finishing off its calculations. Alright, I've got control back. Alright, coming nicer. And the LOD levels are pretty aggressive, but that's understandable. I'll work with those. Alright, nothing on the road. Good. Got the path. That's good. Like it. And let's have a look at our ruins. Yep. Oh, it's not interfered with my planting. It's not put any trees in the middle of the ruins. That's good. That's okay. I'd like to be able to control the size of the trees around here. So I wouldn't have the big trees. I mean, I know I can go in afterwards and edit it. That's fine. But it would be kind of nice to mask this out. Oh, I can mask it out, can't I? So I could mask this area out and then say only spawn the small trees. All right, good. I'm always thinking about whether I can reuse things when I've built them, you see. All right, that looked good. Let's go look at the river. Here's the river. We got stuff in the river. Okay, so it works on the road but not on the river. All right, so that needs some cleanup. I'm going to have to go in and do that manually. I didn't put any rocks in. Oh, that was an oversight, wasn't it? Never mind, I'll go back and do it later. Yeah, looks good there. Have I still got my line of sight up to that? Yes, that looks good. It's not deadly obvious, but it is obvious enough. I'm happy. Well done, Procedural Worlds, folks. Few things for us to work on. Few bugs for you to fix. Few tweaks for me to do. But for what, 3 hours of mucking about and learning as I go, I think this is a pretty good result. Next week I will get on with adding in my my character. Oh, actually, there's one thing. No, I won't do it because it might take me a while and I do need to go to bed. You can use clear trees and clear details extensions. I can. You are right. I had forgotten. So you've given me the tools I need. You know what would be super awesome? Let me do this and then I'll tell you. Clear details. They didn't go, but they may be being planted as trees. Clear trees. Oh, I've got clear details button even though it's a clear trees spawner, which is not a major issue, but that doesn't seem to be working. Oh, I've not got it wide enough. Oh, that's kind of weird. Why is it offset like that? Kind of weird. It doesn't seem to be even on either side of the spline. Yeah, I love the willow tree too. Absolutely. Adjust the width as well. Yep, that's what I was just up to. Yeah, my problem here is it's going a long way out to the side there, but let's see what happens. I definitely did something. That one just got missed. But that's okay. I can go in. I don't want to... Oh, it hasn't done it. I thought it had removed them. Was that trees or was that details? I'm not sure which one I was on. I was on details because that's too narrow. That one seems better. It was the details one. So that one is at 736. Oh, that one's right now. Maybe it was just the angle of the camera. There we go. I think that weirdness I was complaining about was actually the angle of the camera, not the actual thing itself. So there we go. We have cleared the spawner. Thanks for that, Brian. I'd forgotten. I did see it earlier and I'd forgotten about that. Awesome. So next week I will start adding in the player and some AI characters to go wandering around, and then the week after that we will have him. In fact, I think the week after that we'll do the UFE fighting piece, and then we need him to be able to capture those people and take him back to the gladiatorial arena, and then we'll be done. I'm also doing another game jam, 70 FPS game jam in parallel. So this one's going to be going slow while I finish that one off, and then this is finishing after the other one finishes, if that makes any sense. So just before I go to bed, I'll answer the last couple of questions. Just one. Excellent. Debian, you ask, is it HDRP or URP? It's neither. It's built in. I don't trust HDRP at this point. I know it's getting a lot better, but there's still no grass support. You do get Flora with Gaia, and it works really well. I just hate seeing all those white squares when I'm working on a scene. I just can't cope with it. And I don't usually use URP because I normally do realistic style. But URP would be great with the Cincy stuff, so I may switch this project to URP because my goal is to learn. So learning how complete it is would be good. All right. No worries, Robin. Hopefully I will be able to edit this down and make it into something useful for those of you who came in later. You did miss an hour of fumbling at the beginning, but Brian got me there in the end. Yeah, I know, Brian, that the oh, it spawns at, no, I misunderstood. You can remove the right squares because it spawns at runtime. So I could have the grasses present at runtime, but not have the white squares in scene mode. That's interesting. So the white squares are just there for when you're placing the grass to see if you got the right amount, and then you can remove them. Excellent. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, Robin, rewatching it double time speed can work. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. It is late. Thank you so much for keeping me company. Thank you, pretty much the whole Procedural Worlds team, for teaching me to use your tools. I will get this edited down, and hopefully it will help other people learn from you as well. Really appreciate it. Good night, everybody.